Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome back to another episode of the OOC. Not sure if Roberto can make it. He said he's not sure. I sent him the link. He might not be able to make it. Sent it to Nadia and LOWKEY. I actually sent the wrong link earlier, but then I ended up sending them the right one. So we'll see if they come in. If not, it'll just be me and JG, and we'll hold it down like we do. JG, how you doing, brother?
Man, I freaking hate it today. This weather, dude, up and freaking down. It'll be 70 one day, 50 the next day, 85 the next day, then 35 the next 2 days after that. Dude, my body's out of whack. It's out of
Yeah.
whack.
We've been
Can't.
getting some warm weather here. K-Dot sent a $5 super sticker. Thank you very much, K-Dot. Where the fuck have you been, bro? Where have you been? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to run you off of YouTube with the video that I did. Like, the video was trying to save you, really and truly. You know what I mean? But I guess kind of because I lumped you into the nerd man category, you probably, I have a tendency of hurting people like that and, running them off of the platform. I apologize for that if I did that to you, K Dot. You know what I mean? You're still my boy. So come back and get up back onto the streams because I didn't mean to hurt you that bad. I didn't mean to wreck you guys that bad. You know what I mean?
You know what I think
Right?
it is?
Mm-hmm.
It's the J. Cole situation, right? You try to
Mm-hmm.
side with Nerd Man. Nerd Man's making freaking rap beefs with us, doing all
Mm-hmm.
this stuff, and J. Cole apologizes. Okay, that's like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not with this black on black stuff, man.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to
100%. You know what I mean? Zachary said, "What is good?" Nadia is in the house. What's up, Nadia?
What up?
How you
Oh,
doing? Good to have you here.
I'm looking in the
Hey,
chat like, where is she? She right there.
Kata said, "I've been meditating with James Gunn at DC. Marvel's been dying because that X-Men show is ass." Wait, are you talking about X-Men '97? Because if you think X-Men '97 is ass, then I take back my apology for wrecking you. That's the case. All right. And did you ever see that video going around is I wish I never went to this party?
No.
Okay, good. So you're gonna have a first time reaction to it. I had a reaction to it when I first seen it, and I was like, "Damn!" Right? So we're gonna bring up this video. We're gonna watch it, check it out, do reaction to it, and see. X-Men '97 has been out since '97. The '90s Spider-Man show is 10 times better. Okay, you are smoking that nerd man crap way too hard, brother. You need to stop. 100%. You need to stop. But JG, do your
Yep.
thing, man.
Yo, we live right here Wednesday nights on the OOC with Nzo, aka the Abbott and the Osiris of this shit, the Spliff King and the Professor of Ganja. And I hope it's too bad Roberto's not here, but I'm gonna go ahead and do his thing.
Hmm.
Roberto, aka Mr. 100, aka someone to call 911. No woman, no cry. And of course, as always, Nadia, one half of the low key cave, the freestyle queen, spitting that fire and brimstone on all you suckers.
That is
And she don't
correct.
apologize like J. Cole.
And
And won't.
just like, what up, Peyton Nate? How you doing? And just so you know, we have a date. It is Sunday where Danny and I will be whooping that ass in a versus between Loki and the. You know how we know? Well, at least
Listen.
wait. You know how I know we're gonna whoop their asses? Because I watched you guys stream the other night, and you're like, "Oh, I don't even know what we're doing." I'm like, "Really?"
No, yeah, we don't. We don't. We don't.
I was like, really? Me and Danny have been texting tracks back and forth since the day we decided to do it, and you motherfuckers don't even
Meanwhile,
remember
we
what
just
we're
like we don't even know what we're doing. Ain't started no list, nothing.
Y'all need my
doing.
help, man. I'll be there to help you guys if you need it.
You,
I
you,
got
you.
this. I'm always a last minute person because I just sit there and I go through my playlist. I Google smoogle stuff, and
Uh-huh. It's okay. You know what I mean? You're
I got an arsenal because I got great taste in music.
You probably do, but I'm just saying your 10 minutes of work is not gonna match me and Donnie's
No,
week
it's
of
never
work,
10 minutes. It's never 10 minutes. No.
So you guys make sure to stay tuned for that because it is going to be a doozy. Uh, this one said X-Men 97 best superhero show out right now, peak X-Men. I agree with you 100%. And this last episode was banging. I kind of found the first half of it kind of like, man, boring. I got to go back and watch it because I watched it at work. But that last 5 minutes was fire. That was shit was lit.
So you
But
think it's better than Invincible?
ooh,
He says the best show right now. I'm curious because Invincible is kind of top tier for me. So
ooh. I think I might give Invincible a little bit of an edge, to be honest with you. To be honest with you, but
Re-uploaded a
we're
story.
see, I hate when it starts automatically. You should pop it in, and you should be able to start when you're ready to start it. But this is the video, guys. It's called "I Wish I Never Went to This Party." So we're gonna discuss it. Obviously, it's YouTube, so we're gonna have to stop it every now and then, discuss a few points. But we're gonna get into this video because when I seen this, I was like, "This is this is interesting." I want to know what you guys think. So let's go.
So I just re-uploaded a story I did a few months ago the other day to TikTok, and it got over 4 million views overnight. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but it's about this party that I got invited to in LA. And when I initially dropped it, it didn't really get any traction. I'm pretty sure the first time I dropped it, it got like 20,000 views. I was just like, I guess nobody cares about the weird thing that happened to me in LA. I guess it's a boring story. I guess it's not cool. I guess we're just gonna move on here. And I just kind of let it go. I just like let it slide. I just
All right, dude, get to the point. Damn.
No, hold
Get to the
on.
damn
I,
story.
with the
Now just
dramatic
I,
music and all that.
I got this part because I wanted to say something because I found this video a couple of weeks ago before I seen anybody do any reactions to it. And then a few weeks ago I seen a dude did a reaction to it and I seen 1.1 million views on his reaction. I was like, fuck, I knew I should have did a reaction to it, but I watched it and I was like, man, you know what I mean? I was whatever, got lazy, didn't want to do it, and ended up this video getting 1.1 million views, and that's on his channel. He ended up getting like 4 point something views. So let's go.
moved on with my life. I just kept making other content. But in this past month, it blew up. It blew up on YouTube, so I decided to re-upload it to TikTok, and it went crazy. And so many people were asking me so many things. People were accusing me of things. People were trying to find inconsistencies in the story. People were being outright victim blamers. And I kind of realized why it just blew up recently with everything that's going on with Diddy, Ryan Garcia, and the Drake Bell stuff. So I kind of see why the public attention is on it. But one of the main accusations was that I did this after all of that stuff. But if you go check when I uploaded this video, it was over 3 months ago. I uploaded it before any of these people came out, before any of these accusations, before any of this stuff was released. And I know there's been similar stories and people say similar things about weird stuff that happens in LA. But I don't think anybody has put out such a detailed account of the stuff that happens there. And that kind of moves me on to my next point. There's a couple things I want to address in this, and I just want to clear up everything for you guys. I'm going to go over all of the most common comments that I got, the most common accusations that I got, just what it seems like you guys want to know the most about. And I'm not sure how much more detailed I could really be about
I
the
know,
party
right?
in general or the entire experience in general. I could definitely go into more of the stuff of how they were messing with me after. Let me know if you guys want to hear that. But a lot of people are telling me to say what I saw in the 6th room. And that confuses me a little bit because I don't know why you guys want me to say it. Do you guys want me to give you like vivid, horrible descriptions of illegal activities that are like disgusting and done to people that they shouldn't be done to? That's a bit weird to me. You want to hear those words come out of my mouth. I don't want to describe it to you. It's grotesque, it's disgusting, it's hideous, it's heinous. Stuff that they do is unspeakable. It's like gross, and they record it so they could.
So he's, and I get into it. He's talking about an invitation he went to, and he's seen some shit that, you know, it was shocking to him.
hold it over you for your entire life. So for the people that are saying, say what they did, I want to hear it come out of your mouth, that's gross. It's a little bit weird that you so desperately want me to explain to you what I saw, What I saw was horrible. What I saw was illegal, and what I saw was inhumane. And I don't want to say it. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. I don't want to describe it to you. It's gross. It's not something cool to say on the internet. You could look at some of the stuff that Ryan was saying. He was being a little bit more graphic than I'm going to be here. For the people that are like, say it, I don't believe you unless you vividly describe this horrible thing. You're gross. You guys want me to describe completely dismissing, really break the NDA. Holes punched in it and it has like a medallion now.
This is the wrong video. That's why. Okay. 'Cause this, so that one is after he did his video, right? He started talking about the people that wanted him to talk about what he's seen in the first room, and it seems like I don't have it here. Okay, give me a second, guys. I thought I did download it, but I didn't. I think I'll just.
I feel like people, the stuff we see in horror movies is kind of the reason why people want them to say it, because we see a lot of horrific shit in horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, honestly though, I don't want to hear him say it, and I don't want to know. But that's because to me, on the level of what he's talking about, is people saying, why didn't they show the R scene in Players Club? Like, who wants to see that? Like, you get what I'm saying? That's what I feel like he's on the level of saying. Like, don't nobody want to see that. We did not need to see that.
But you know, that's the thing. There's some people out there that actually want to see stuff like that, or at least
That's
hear it, right? Because
yeah.
what happens is, it will justify their thinking of how Hollywood is, right? And since now
Hmm.
they have someone who's giving detailed accounts of what was happening, they want to know if it's true. And it's like, oh yeah, you see, now you confirmed everything that I ever thought. I was
Yeah.
absolutely right. Hollywood is this and Hollywood is that. You know what I mean? So
I mean, it is. Use your imagination, though. I honestly, that ain't no shit that I ever want to see or hear of. Like,
It's especially
facts,
different if it's a known celebrity or
Is
an
so
artist or
facts.
something.
creative with
They
this. Like, how do they even color?
All right. So this
scared.
is the original video. Here we go.
Damn, that's actually really good. Anyway, stuff together when somebody's coming to visit me. I even hate I just started freaking out because part of me didn't even want to believe it. And I even found myself trying to convince myself that it didn't happen. That what I saw through that window was some type of game or some type of charade. But as comforting as it would have been to brush it off as something fake, what I saw through that window was just too real. I'm not going to go into explicit detail, but I thought long and hard about what details I could give to paint the picture clearer for you. They had the new people taking turns laying in a fancy coffin, while like a group of older ones stood around in a circle around the coffin taking turns. And they were doing whatever they pleased to the newcomer on camera like it was some type of humiliation ritual, while all of the others stood around that big circle cheering or just chatting while they were being served drinks by very new people, if you know what I'm saying. And it really seemed like everything that they were doing was for the cameras. Like the purpose of this room was to get footage from newcomers that was so graphically heinous that if it was released to the public, they would never even be able to explain it. And the public humiliation would be too severe to ever recover their career or their life. And the people that were serving drinks in that room weren't the same people that were serving drinks in the other rooms. It was as if they were saving these extremely new servers for this room and beyond. That's all I'm going to say about that, and now I'm going to move on to the week after. I was not expecting that night to go like that. And I never would have had Joe
Hold
like to
on.
have my gym
Hold
at
on.
home. I just started freaking out because itself.
Gonna
But I
miss
really
something.
sped through the following week and I left out so many details. I asked if anybody would want more details.
Okay. Again, this isn't the first one. He did three. He did three, and he did the first one. I can't. Is this it? Hold on.
The coffin story doesn't surprise me because
Because I had the. What's that?
the coffin story he was talking about. I
Yeah.
remember when I was a kid, we had a friend that was family owner that had a funeral home, and we would play this game. Don't judge me. And you would lay in a coffin, close it up, and see how long you can stay in there without going crazy.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I would
I,
never do that. Yeah, I would
bruh,
never.
someone shut me in a closet when I was a kid, and I damn. That's when I realized, nope, I can't do these small spaces.
Yeah, me too. Claustrophobic and stuff like that. So to put me in like a coffin or something. Listen, I was on the metro today, and that thing kind of stopped. Right, it went, and then it slowed down and stopped, and I was like, oh shit, here we go. And then my anxiety started to kick in and shit, and I was like, fuck. But then it moved again. But yeah, I definitely have that issue as well.
But see, I'm the opposite because if I'm in a big room, that's when my anxiety starts kicking in. Small room, I'm good. I don't care.
It depends on how well lit the room is, how big it is, and are there other people? Because I don't like crowds.
Mm.
Like, oh
Hmm.
my god, I used to work as like a after school what do they call us? Mentor. Anyway, uh yeah, can y'all believe it? People used to trust me with their kids. but but yeah, we went to the aquarium in Georgia in the middle of fucking summer, right?
Hmm.
I'm all happy. I'm like, this is the one of the best aquariums in the United States. So I'm like, yeah, man. As soon as we walked in and I saw all them people, and then people don't. This was uh pre-COVID, so like people don't wasn't giving me no 6 feet, and I don't like people I don't know close to me. Don't
Hmm.
fucking touch me. Why are you this
Hmm.
close to me in line? Give me 50 feet. Like I just can't. So I immediately started getting the attitude, and they was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "It's too many people here, and you and people of a certain hue or shade don't know how to back the fuck up. Like, why are you so close to me?" I
I
don't
know
know.
a lot of people like that.
Is is that a YT Southern thing, or is that just like YT people? Period.
No, I know a lot of people that like that, that are like that, and especially during the COVID time, they did
Hmm.
not want you around them at all. You know what I mean? It was like, nope, I don't want you near me. I don't want you near me.
I wasn't hanging out with you or talking to you like that if we wasn't hanging out before COVID.
Mm-hmm. I think I have it here. I think this is it. Let me make sure. Okay, this is it.
To another story.
All right,
If
here
you
we go.
really love spooky,
Took me long
scary
enough, but I
stories
got
told
it.
in the first person, you're on the right channel. I encourage you to like and subscribe if you want, right? It helps me. If it helps me, it
Hey,
helps
David,
you.
what's
The
up?
more it helps me, the more
Zachary
stories I can
said,
get to you. So liking and subscribing, just
gotta
absolutely
be careful when
backflip
going
onto
to
that
parties,
subscribe
even
button if you
outside
don't
US.
mind.
I
This
avoid a
story
lot of
I
parties
dropped a few
from weird
months
shit
ago
happening.
and it didn't get
Absolutely.
any traction when I initially started dropping it. And then it started to blow up on Facebook a month later after I had already abandoned it and moved on. But a lot of people demanded another part, so this is going to be the full story of the society with an extra part at the end. I'm so happy people have started enjoying this. I really appreciate it. Enjoy the show.
Finally, we have the story.
So
Damn.
this story is the reason I stopped making content for 5 years. You guys remember when all those Vine stars and skit Instagrammers moved to LA in like 2015-ish? So I wasn't a huge creator at the time, but I was there and around it all as all of that stuff was happening. I moved from Chicago to LA 3 weeks after high school with like $2,000 in my pocket that I saved up working at Steak and Shake with this other aspiring creator named David. I was much more into editing and being behind the camera at that time, and he was much more into Vine and vlogs and being on camera. That time of our lives was absolutely crazy. Everybody was broke, posting anything we could onto YouTube to get some attention. I happened to get a spot at the now notorious 1600 Vine Apartments, and David got a spot a little bit closer to USC. Everyone was collaborating with everyone, and it was the era of clickbait YouTube. And to be honest, it was extremely fun for the first few months, until Hollywood started to notice that influencers were the next big thing, and that the landscape of the industry was changing. And we started to get invited to more exclusive parties and events, where it seemed as if old Hollywood was almost grooming new Hollywood. And there was rumors of this
Yep.
one gathering that was happening on a monthly basis, where it seemed like anybody that got invited saw a massive jump in their numbers, secured huge brand
Thank-
deals right after attending. But apparently this gathering
Go ahead.
Like none of this shit sounds far fetched. I'm like, yep,
Mm-hmm.
yep,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
And
Yes, sir.
you noticed the pictures he showed when he was talking about the YouTubers, right? There was
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
one black guy that was
Yep.
in a couple
King
of
Bash.
movies. Yeah, what's his name?
Mm-hmm. King Bash.
Uh-huh. I was like, okay, that was interesting. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Worked on a buddy system. Someone had to vouch for you and bring you as a guest. And by blind luck, me and David ended up getting invited. Some talent agents saw me and David shoot a silly skit at a random party. He didn't invite us that second, he just told us that he saw something special in us and took our contact information. And listen, people do that all the time in LA, but this guy had a different feel to him. He wasn't trying to convince us he had connections
I
or
have
hype
heard
himself
this
up like
story.
everybody else does. He was just super calm
You
and had a
heard it?
sharp way of speaking that demanded
Yeah,
respect.
but
He was extremely brief, and after getting our numbers, he just said, look out for
Go ahead. You heard it, but
yeah, I had okay. So I think this was ended up on my For You page on TikTok, and
hmm
I listened to it, but I don't know if I listened to all of it, and it
Yeah.
was just a clip of it, so it wasn't this whole
this
thing
whole
like
thing.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and man, I just to me, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
nah, because shit be sounding mean when it come out my mouth, so that's
So
all
go
I
ahead
just
and say it. Speak
It's
your
no.
truth.
okay.
Speak your
I
truth.
mean, random white guy I saw on TikTok, they look all the same to me. Like that's why it wasn't clicking to me until this. Like I was like, okay, yeah, I remember this now, man. Because I'm just being honest.
What up, Danny?
I mean, they say the same shit about us. Don't we all look alike? They always ask if we related.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
100%. And to be honest with you, before I seen this video, I never seen this guy before.
Me neither.
You know what I mean? And the thing is, I watched him. Hold on. I watched him talk about some other YouTubers, and shit, I lost my train of thought. Donnie was messing with me. Well, hold on. Let's get back to the video, and I'll try and remember what I was gonna say. But go ahead.
the invite and walked away. And this is where it gets weird. I never gave this guy my address, I only gave him my number. But I ended up getting an invitation by letter. And at the time, I thought that that was so cool. But in retrospect, as an adult, looking back at it, that alone was a huge violation of privacy and a major red flag. But at the time, when I tell you I was absolutely buzzing with excitement. When I got it, the letter was so extravagant and detailed. It was gold with black and red lettering that read something like, your talents have been noted, your name has been endorsed, and I'll never forget this part. The dreams you have been chasing are a night away through the seventh heaven. And the address was a beautiful home in Laurel Canyon that was set to happen that weekend. It also noted to not be a minute late and not to expect to leave before midnight. And at the time, it felt like the Willy Wonka golden ticket. And the excitement doubled when I got a text
That's
from David
mad
at the same
specific.
time. In all caps saying, did you get one too? I felt like our lives were about to change. And I was right. David blew up after this party, and I had to go into hiding. I felt like our lives were about to change. And I was right. David blew up after this party, and I had to go into hiding. When I tell
When I read the comments, a lot of people were trying to put who David was and like saying all these YouTubers. I can't think of the names right now, but they were like, "Oh, this guy and this guy. That's who he's talking about." You know what I
you I
mean?
was on cloud nine leading up to that party. I mean it. I was so young and naive and delusionally optimistic. I truly believed that I was going to go to this party and leave rich, because it literally seemed like that was happening to the creators around me that attended. I was hyped. I've never been a braggy person, but when you're young and excited, you get consumed by good news and want to talk to your friends and peers about it. So everybody that I chatted with who I knew was a content creator and was in the know about this party, I couldn't help but to tell them. And all the feedback was positive and along the lines of, let me know how it goes, or can you try to get me into the next one? And even some from bigger creators saying, I'll see you there, with like a little smirk on their face. Like they were pumped for me. Except for one conversation with a creator that most of you probably know. This creator is an extremely positive guy, and he's one of the most wholesome, bubbly, genuine guys I met out there. And when I told him the good news, he looked at me like I told him a tsunami was headed towards the building. The usual joy that this man brought to every conversation turned into real fear and concern. And he made me leave the lobby and come up to his apartment before explaining anything to me. Like he was scared that somebody was gonna overhear our conversation. When we got up to his apartment, he was just pacing. Like he had no idea how to start this conversation. But when he finally spoke up, all he said was, listen, Doug, I know you're excited, but I'm begging you, please do not go. That man is not who you think he is. He was being so frantic, and I could see tears welling up in this guy's eyes. But I was young, and I thought that I knew everything. I didn't even think the talent agent that sent us the invite was important. I was interested in the connections, and I didn't really care if the talent agent was shady, or if his intention was to sign me to a bad deal. I thought I'd just say no to any bad contract that he tried to send me, but still get to reap all the benefits of the party. So I tried to pry a little bit and ask follow-up questions, but all he gave me was, I have a friend who went, and he hasn't been the same since he didn't cooperate. I don't know what he saw or what they did to him, but Doug, I do not want to see that happen to you. I don't know what he saw or what they did to him, but Doug, I do not want to see that happen to you. I start reassuring him that they won't make me do anything that I don't want to do. I don't even drink, let alone take any party favors. So peer pressure isn't much of an issue for me. I make up a lie to get out of the situation, because to be honest, I selfishly wanted to stay excited about this party. And I really didn't want.
So if you were a content creator, right, and got that invitation to a party like that, would you consider going?
Yep.
Hmm?
Yep.
In and if I was in my 20s, hell motherfucking yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
that party. But I have a lot of intuition and like seriously, like I look back on shit that when bad shit happened to me, how before it happened, like earlier that day, my stomach would be in knots or like just like shit would be like, nah, this don't feel right. You know what I mean? So I know
Hmm.
my intuition would have kicked the fuck in. So I don't know if I would have actually made it. But in my 20s, hell yeah, I'd be going to that party. In my 30s, who all gonna be there? And you want me to be
Well,
there from this time and all this? Cause I feel him on the even if I don't do what they want me to do, I can maybe get connections with somebody else. You get what I'm
Exactly.
hmm
saying? So I get
hmm
what he's saying. Like, yeah, I can rub shoulders with people, become friends, whatever, whatever. But like, yeah, in my 30s, who all gonna be there?
Hmm.
Who all gonna be there? What
so
am I required to do? What's the dress code? Will there be food? What type of food? Who cooking the food? Who's the can I share my location with blah blah because no. You not finna catch me slipping.
Nope.
facts.
Blah, blah,
Can
no.
I bring somebody with me? Can I bring a couple people with me? Because I'm not going by myself.
How
Yeah,
long
well,
you gonna keep
You're
my
not finna.
phone? Cause
You're
you
not
know
finna
they
diddy
take
me.
phones and
You're
shit.
not finna diddy my
absolutely,
ass. Nope.
absolutely, and he tells that they take his phone as well.
Oh
So
hell
wait
no.
till, yeah,
Want
absolutely,
to
one
hear
hundred percent.
anything negative about it. So I jokingly told him that I'd text him when I got home and that I had to leave to edit some videos tonight. What I was really doing was calling my dad to beg him for $100 to buy a rental suit. Mind you, we were all still poor, and I was living in an apartment that I could barely afford. My dad reluctantly sent me the money, and I immediately texted David to pick me up tomorrow at 5 p.m. so we could both get our suits before the party and grab food before we head to the party at 11. When David picked me up the next day, he was so excited and in such a great mood that I had to hide my concerns from him, at least while we were shopping for the rental suits. I had to manufacture excitement because David always has his camera out, and I wouldn't just be spoiling the mood, I would be ruining the content that he was trying to record. So I went along with it throughout the shopping process. Our plan was to drop his car off at my apartment, walk to the In-N-Out Burger on Sunset Boulevard, eat, and then change into our suits in the bathroom and hop into the Uber, so we didn't smell like burgers. When we finally sat down to eat, I took that opportunity to bring up the warning that my friend gave me the day before in his apartment. I told him everything that he said to me and how scared he looked when he said it, and that I was feeling a little bit worried about going to this party. David cut me off before I even got to finish my sentence and firmly said we're going, and then went on a rant about how my friend is a jealous clout chaser and that he's just salty that his content isn't good enough and
Island
would never be
boys,
invited to something like this. He said it in a half serious
What was that?
that's them Island boys. Ain't
Yeah,
they doing each other and they brothers?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, those clowns.
Sick of them.
half joking tone like he always does when he wants to get his way.
But they
No,
came
see,
out of nowhere though.
That
they
is true.
did. They
You know what
That
I
is
did.
mean?
true.
And
These
got
guys,
famous and like they were pushed through the algorithm and everybody was like,
facts,
why?
Hmm.
facts,
Why?
facts,
How?
facts, 100%. And I think a lot of these guys, a lot of these YouTubers that got big overnight, is they were pushed. You know what I mean? And some of them were pushed for negative content, like those Island Brother guys. Those
Hmm.
guys are clowns.
Then he finished off by guilting me and saying, Doug, don't ruin this
Where
opportunity
did
for
you get
us.
this
Please just get
material
through this
from?
party for me. I'd never heard anybody talk about my friend that
He's a YouTuber, Danny. He's a YouTuber. Can't remember his name. I'd have to find it, but yeah, he's a YouTuber.
way, but I'd known David for so much longer, so I trusted his judgment. So I nodded my head and called the Uber. We changed in the bathrooms and hopped into the Uber, and David starts recording again, so I have to pretend to be excited again. But once we got off the side streets and started driving up Laurel Canyon, I started getting anxious and internally panicking. If you're not familiar with Laurel Canyon, it's filled with beautiful homes, but at night it's extremely dark and borderline freaky, especially when you consider all the history with the Manson murders in that area. Part of me feels like we're dropping ourselves off into a setup, but once we arrive, all of my worries
That's
get
not a
washed away. We pull
coincidence
into the
that
driveway
that's the
and this
place they
house is
chose.
beautiful
Right. You know?
and
Hmm.
extravagant. And everyone waiting in line to walk in is smiling and laughing and friendly. So I get excited again. At the door, they take our phones and have us sign an NDA, which isn't uncommon in house parties like this in LA. And they give us a mask and a name tag with funny aliases. My mask looked like a bear and David's looked like a bird. My alias was Stardust, which David got a crack out of, and his was Banshee. We enter what you could call like the lobby of the house, and as we're walking
Sounds like that
Stardust and
movie.
Banshee.
eyes wide shut. You know
Eyes
what I
wide
mean? You
shut. Yeah.
go into these parties, you got these masks on, so no one can tell who you are. And
Mm-hmm.
this is crazy WP stuff. I'm just saying. WP?
Mm. White people.
White people.
Oh, I can't believe that went over my head. Yeah. Oh, wait, Danny. It gets worse.
The apparent host of the party starts giving a speech. This man is very eccentric and outspoken, and he's got the cadence of a late night show host, and I spot the agent that invited us standing right behind him. The speech was basically just encouraging everybody to have fun and explaining the itinerary of the night. Apparently this was a themed room party, and all of the guests were instructed to move to the next room whenever the grandfather clock chimed. He wrapped up his speech with some cheeky joke, and then one line that still irks me to this day. He said, "Have fun now, our descent starts at midnight." I tried to give David the eyes that I didn't like where this party was going. This type of behavior from people that I saw as adults made me extremely uncomfortable. The moment the host wrapped up his speech, a couple of workers came out of the doorway. They were holding a couple sets of long poles. All of a sudden music started playing and everybody seemed like they knew what was going on. So I just went along with it. So I guess these parties start off with a big game of limbo. It's funny seeing people dressed so nicely playing a silly child's game, but it's even weirder seeing A-list celebrities being so excited to play. Because everybody had masks on, but when somebody that you grew up watching in movies walks by you with a quarter of their face covered, you still know it's them. I was amazed with how inviting and willing to introduce themselves these people were. I was expecting at least an undertone of uppityness in there, but it seemed like everybody was involving everybody in conversation, and they were frequently introducing themselves to me with their alias, of course. The only thing weird about it was something that I didn't notice until the third person did it. When they shook my hand, they pressed their thumb into the soft part between my thumb and my pointer finger, and I only recognized the pattern because the third guy gave me a big smile and said, "This must be your first time here." In retrospect, this should have alarmed me, but it seemed like they got friendlier when they realized that it was my first time here, so I didn't really think anything of it. But before I got to ask any follow-up questions about
Fresh
So
meat.
exactly. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, you
Said
never
that
been here.
booty hole tense.
Yeah. Fleshed up quick.
Oh, you have no idea what you are in for, my friend. You know?
this odd handshake, the first grandfather clock chime went off, and everybody excitedly rushed into the second room. When I finally got in there, I was taken aback by the dramatic decor change. Everything in this room was different shades of
See,
blue.
this is
The
this is
music
the
was
part I
romantic, and all
saw.
the
I listened. This is the part where I came in.
This is the part where you came in? All right,
Yeah,
cool.
so this
furniture
is
was
what I saw
Tibetan.
where he's going about the rooms.
You seen all six rooms? Six rooms, I think you said there is?
No, I don't think I finished it because I kind of figured where this was going. I think I stopped at the like the
I got you.
like I know where this is going.
The
Yeah.
beds and love seats. I stood there for a second trying to realize what was different, but I couldn't put my finger on it until some girl walked by and caressed my shoulder in a really flirty manner. The decor changed, but the way everybody was acting was drastically different. Before, everybody seemed to be outgoing and inviting and friendly, but the second they stepped foot into this room, they became touchy, flirty, and suggestive. I was only 19 at the time, so this type of behavior from people that I saw as adults made me extremely uncomfortable, especially when I saw that the cabana beds had curtains that you could close for privacy. And I realized that these people weren't just being suggestive, they meant it. I tried to give David the eyes that I didn't like where this party was going, but he seemed to be really enjoying the female attention, so I was on my own. I basically stayed in perpetual motion and walked laps until the next chime went off, so I didn't have to sit next to anybody for too long and let them get too comfortable. The clock finally went off and everybody rushed to the next room immediately. The weirdest
That's why if you're weak and you go to something like this, they can have you in a freaking second. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Just have these hot girls coming up to you that you ain't never seen before, right? You get a taste of this kind of a life, and then there's no telling what you're gonna be doing in that last room he talks about. Yeah, I think his friend David gets caught up in that, but we'll see.
part was the people that were in the private sections didn't even bother redressing except for the mask. I was in no rush to get to the next room, but I could see into it over the crowd of everybody's head. The walls were bright orange, but the smells that were wafting in from that room were amazing. And when I finally got in there, it was like the Hogwarts feast. It was table after table of the most delicious spreads I've ever seen. There was full tables for seafood, full tables for meats, full tables of sushi, and an entire wall of spirits. I almost started enjoying myself again, until I saw the way these people were treating finishing this food. They were disrespectfully biting chunks out of delicious prime rib roasts. They were just shoving copious amounts of high-grade sashimi into their mouths and eating caviar like it was cereal. The way that they were just grabbing with their hands and just spitting out things that they didn't like onto the floor ruined my appetite. At this point, I wanted nothing to do with these people. At this point, I wanted nothing to do with these people.
But that's what it is, right? If you go through these rooms and you comply, then I guess you've succeeded the test or the descent that he was talking about, right? So obviously there's gonna be some stuff that I know I'm like Jay-Z, that's nasty. I'm sitting there eating food and I'm watching people chew it up and then spit it on them. That's disgusting.
Yeah, and then he talking about the way they're eating it in a savage manner, like like hands just like why? Like, you know how much this shit costs? Like,
you know why? Because they got so much fucking money that they don't know what to do with themselves. So the only thing they can do is try to control you. Crazy.
People. So I went up to the only familiar face in the room. The agent that invited me was the only other person not eating. So I approached him and lifted up my mask so he'd recognize me, considering we'd only met one time. Before I even got out my greeting or got my mask halfway off my face, he abruptly pressed my mask back into place and sharply said, "Mask stay on till the 6th room." He did it in a way that seemed like I was embarrassing him for not knowing the rules. So to ease the tension, I jokingly replied, "So we're only halfway there, huh?" He didn't laugh or make eye contact. He just dismissively replied, "I encourage you to engage in the festivities. A slow drip is better than a flood." He started to walk towards the door as the clock chimed for the next room, like he knew it was about to go off. I didn't like that interaction at all. He's the one that invited me here, and he seemed to have no interest in talking to me. I just kept going over what he said the entire time while we were in the next room. This room was yellow and basically just a casino. I wanted to talk to David privately and let him know that I wanted to leave, but he seemed to just be caught up in the momentum of the party. Plus, there was a roulette table in the room, and David's freakishly good at roulette. So at this point, the winning streak that he's building is the center point of the party. I can't fully focus on what the agent said to me because I have to pretend to be excited about David's winning streak in a fake casino where you're not actually winning money. And like clockwork, the chime goes off. The entire party starts rushing to the next room again, and the vibe changes dramatically. I'm the last person to walk into the bright red room. This room didn't seem to have a specific activity like the others. It was just empty and bright red, and everybody was whispering to each other. For a split second, I thought it might be a big game of telephone or something silly like that. But as I started walking through and brushing shoulders with these people,
I don't know what it is about the red room.
In movies, they be having them red rooms.
Red room.
Yeah. The red room signifies blood, I'm guessing, or whatever, but everything is red. The lighting red, the furniture red, the walls are red. Man, I would have walked in and I said, "No, I'm good. Thank you. I'll pass on that one."
And hearing what they were saying,
I would have been pissed about the food part because, like,
prime rib, I ain't throwing that away.
Right? Like, niggas, the fuck y'all doing? I would have.
Like, baby, get the big purse. Get the big purse. Let's do it.
Right, exactly. Like a little doggy bag and shit.
I started questioning. What the hell? Questioning everything. The same people that I saw laughing and celebrating and eating together were whispering the most heinous, offensive comments directly to each other. I mean, things that you wouldn't even say behind your friend's back, they were saying it to their face. I'm talking friendship-ending secrets and personal opinions about each other, laced with envy and jealousy. I hurried to a quiet corner because I was sick of hearing everybody's dirty laundry after walking around for a minute and a half. And it all clicked. I knew exactly what this party was. I see the host ask the first person in line a question before having them repeat something that he said. When I tell you I am done with this party, I'm absolutely not doing that. All the dots start connecting in my head while everybody's being horrible to each other around me. I'm trying to recap the whole night and remember the order of each room to solidify my suspicions. But the chime for the next room goes off. This time, everybody gets eerily quiet and calm, like they got all of their venom out. The host of the party announces for all of the newcomers to come to the front. All of the attendees form a single file line in front of the next room's door. There's about 10 other newcomers in front of me and David, and the agent that invited us is standing to the left of the door, and the host of the party is standing to the right. The host has a pile of books on the table next to him. I see the host ask the first person in line a question and then grab a book based on his answer. He would present the book to the person and place a diamond-shaped metal symbol on top of it before having them repeat something that he said. Then he'd take their mask off and let them enter the next room. I couldn't make out exactly what he was doing until there was only 2 people ahead of me in line. The books were Bible Bibles, Qurans, Torahs, and so on. He would ask the person, and which one is yours? Whichever they chose, he'd grab it and place the metal symbol on top of it. He'd have you put your hand on top of the metal symbol and then repeat, I am my own God, I bow to nobody but myself. When I tell you I am done with this party, and I whip my head around and I tell David I am absolutely not doing that. David whispered back in a joking tone like he always does, dude, it's just a party, who cares? I'll see you in the next room. And he skipped me in line to show me.
Absolutely not.
No, absolutely. And it ain't me. And I'm not even a religious person. It's just the fact that I'm not even gonna pretend. Like I don't even want to play like that. Like I said, I'm not saying I'm God fearing or I fear the gods. It's like this. No, this is a ritual, and that you want me that I'm participate. No, fuck no, no sir, nope, no, nope, absolutely not.
Yep. And that's what I'm saying. Like even for, like you said, someone that's not religious to even have the like thought, okay, I'm gonna do that. But what if all this shit is true? I just renounce, you know what I mean? Like put my hand and said, I am my own. Absolutely not. No, sir. No, that's
So what was
worship shit. Go ahead.
it was 6 rooms, and I'm sitting here thinking 7 deadly sins. I guess can you not? Maybe it's one they couldn't make a room for, I guess.
Probably.
That he'd do it first to make me feel more comfortable. He went through with it and giggled his way into the next room. It was my turn, so I tried to play it cool and whisper to the host, do you mind if I skip this part? It's making me a little bit uncomfortable. I thought he'd subtly break character and reassure me that this is just a party theme and it's all good. Instead, he whispered back to me in a really kind tone, of course man, don't worry about it. Just take your mask off and turn around. I was relieved for about a split second, before the agent that invited me here grabbed my arm and started guiding me towards the exit. And I see that everybody that was behind me in line, staring at me straight-faced. I look back at the host and he's standing up and loudly shouts like he's starting a chant. The price was not paid. And then everybody in line that was staring at me chants in unison like they knew exactly what to do. Remove the profane. And they repeated over and over until I'm through the exit door. The price was not paid. Remove the profane. The price was not paid. Remove the profane. So the agent just walks me to the closest door. He doesn't even walk me to the front of the party and out the front door. He just puts me out into the backyard. It's 4 a.m. My friend's still inside. I don't have my phone. So I decide to walk around the right side of the house because that's where all of the party attendees were kind of headed. Let me see if I could peek in and maybe flag down David to let him know I got kicked out. And there's some windows to the next room. But of course these windows are like big church stained glass windows. And you can't really see through stained glass windows like the colored ones. But if you go really, really close and you look through the white parts, you could kind of see clearly what is on the inside. And this room is like a bizarre church replica without all of the seating. It's just a big church-like room. And all of the people that were in there had their masks off. And it was like a big circle and almost looked like an initiation. And all of these celebrities are standing around in a circle around the other 9 new people. It was 10 excluding me. And there was big TV grade cameras recording, and it looked like the group of celebrities and everybody else that was there was kind of cheering them on. But then there was clearly people in there that were much more serious and kind of threatening, and the 10 new people were in the middle of this room being forced to do horrible things that I wish I could unsee. And the new people clearly didn't want to do these things. They were being forced to do these things. And they were clearly recording it. And I see my friend being forced to do these horrible things in front of these people and in front of these cameras. I just start panicking. I don't know what to do.
That reminds me of Black Mirror. That first episode of Black Mirror where he had to But I'm trying to tell you, when I've been trying to turn LOWKEY on the Black Mirror. So when he watched it, I told him, I said, you go ahead and watch the first episode. I'm not watching it ever again. You can't pay me to watch that shit. He was like, damn, it's like that. I was like,
did I see that? Because I know I seen some.
That's the one where they kidnapped the princess or whatever. She was some royalty. They kidnapped the royalty. Like she was like the niece or something like that. I don't know. They kidnapped her, and in order to get her back, he had to have relations with the pig on camera, and it be broadcasted throughout all of the UK.
Yeah, I'm starting to remember that shit now.
And they kept trying to find a way to fake it with CGI, get a porn star to do it, pay somebody else to do it. And no, he had to be the one to do it. And he did it. And he had to climax too. So like this is the type of shit that I think that they be doing. Like, hey,
Exactly. And
because
I
you
know
gotta think about it.
now.
On the other end of that, you getting something out of it, and it's like, hey, I am not. You cannot bestiality. You
Hmm.
could not.
And
Yeah.
it makes sense that they would record you doing stuff like this
Yep.
because, like we said, they always try to catch you. You know, if you ever go against the grain, they have information on you. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm like you. Peace. I'm gone. Out of here. No,
I can't
sorry.
get
My head,
past
I'm
the
like,
food part of it. When
What's
he did
that?
that, I can't get past the food part.
Facts.
Like,
After that, I'm
Facts.
done.
hey,
I'm done after
disrespecting
that.
the food.
Facts. Facts. Like, get me the fuck out of here where I can go get some real food. What am I doing in this bullshit? For
I
real.
just need to get out of here. So I start speed walking to the front of the house, and I'm thinking I need to get out of this gate.
But that video that I showed earlier by mistake was the video of after people seeing this, where they were asking him what actually happened, what did he see, and that's why he was calling him sick if you really wanted to see it and stuff like that. So
There's only one street. We're on Laurel Canyon, so it's either I go left and start running towards Studio City, or I go right and start running towards West Hollywood. I'm not about to go knock on other people's doors. I'm just trying to get back to like civilization. And I'm trying to remember if we're closer to Studio City or if we're closer to West Hollywood. I don't even know. As I get to the front of the house, one of the employees is standing there, and he's standing in front of a car, and he has my phone. I'm not sure if he knows that I just saw everything, so I'm kind of standing there deer in headlights, but he just politely goes, "Here's your phone and here's your ride. Don't worry, the driver will take you home." So I take my phone and I sit in the car, and I'm trying to gauge to see if this driver has any malicious intent, but he doesn't seem to. And within the first 3 minutes, I know that they don't think I saw anything. They were just getting my
I'd have been a little bit worried about getting in that car too. I'd have been like, I got my phone. No, no, I'll walk and then call an Uber from somewhere around here, but I'm good. Thank you. I ain't getting in that one.
stuff prepared and my car prepared to take me home because they're under the impression that I didn't see anything too bad, and I got kicked out before any horrible things started happening to people inside of this party. So I get in the car and I'm checking my phone. My phone was fully charged when I got here, so I don't know what they did, but my phone won't turn on. I have to sit through this 30-minute car ride. One of my best friends is back at this party getting mistreated and recorded doing horrible things, and I can't tell anybody. So I get through this 30-minute horrible suspense-filled car ride thinking about all of the people that were so nice to me inside of this party, and the whole intent of this party was to butter me up to get me to do these horrible things. And when I finally get back to my apartment, I run upstairs, I plug my phone into the charger, and the first texts that come through are from my friend Joe. And I completely forgot that my friend Joe was coming to visit me. He was coming on a little mini vacation, and I was gonna play tour guide and show him around the city. So now I'm thinking I only have like 4.5 hours to sleep before I have to go pick up my friend from the airport, and I still don't know if my other friend is okay. So I'm blowing up David's phone because he's still at this party, but I set a timer so I get to the airport to pick up my other friend. So I barely get any sleep. I drive to LAX to go pick up Joe, and I drive him back to my apartment. And when I'm coming back into my apartment, David's in the lobby and he's talking to some other big creators, like bouncing video ideas. It's like 9:30, 10 a.m. at this point, so we're just kind of having coffee by the cafe and chatting. I tell Joe to go upstairs to my apartment and drop off his luggage, and I go ask David if I could talk to him really quick. I'm clearly very distressed, and he's being very jokey with me, and he doesn't seem like anything bad happened, and he's just kind of making fun of me for getting kicked out of the party. I'm just letting him talk for a little bit, and I finally tell him I was looking in through the next window. I saw what they made him do, and I was just asking him if he's okay. And the second I said that, he immediately switched on me, and he started damn near cussing me out and saying friendship ending things, and his eyes turned from happy and giddy to filled with almost fear and a little bit of betrayal. When he stormed off, he pulled out his phone and he was calling somebody as if he was like reporting something back to them. I immediately start freaking out. I assume that he's telling them that I saw what they did, and now I have my friend upstairs who thinks he's just on vacation when I just saw hyper successful rich people doing unspeakable acts, and they have all of the resources to come after me. They know.
What's funny is though, like after you see your friend after that party, especially if you've seen what you've seen in that window, you'd probably be assumed that he's been turned. And I don't think
Mhm.
I would even said anything to him. I went like, "What's up, man? You have fun? It was good?" Because you know what I mean. Like after seeing what you did and whatever you did, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. You sold your soul. I don't need to mess with you anymore.
where I live, and David isn't even on my side because the dirt that they have on him now. I have to pretend that everything's okay to Joe because he flew all the way out here for a vacation, and I don't even really know how bad the situation is. I don't even know how to tell him about everything that happened the night before. And I promised Joe that we were going to go to Runyon Canyon this morning, so he goes and changes into hiking gear, and I drive him over to Runyon Canyon. We do the hike for a few hours, and when we come back and I check my mail, there's another letter from these people, and I take it to the bathroom because I don't even want Joe to see it, and it's a screenshot of the surveillance footage of me looking in through the window and a little handwritten note, just a reminder of the worst mistake you've ever made. Curiosity killed the cat. And I start freaking out. I know that David just betrayed me and told them that I saw, and now they have proof that I saw. Now I'm just a walking liability to them, and now they're threatening me and that was the worst mistake that I've ever made and insinuating that curiosity killed the cat. I'm the cat, but it's still not enough to tell Joe about what happened. So I just go on with this charade, and I'm just playing tourist, bringing my friend around the city, and the first day nothing happened. And to this day, I firmly believe that the only reason they didn't do anything to me is because Joe was there with me that whole week, and he had just finished the police academy, and he was officially a police officer. So I think me being with him is the only thing that kept me safe, because they weren't willing to do anything to a police officer. And I knew for sure they were keeping
Not a
an
police
eye on me
officer
the
that's
next
not
day
on their
because
side.
Joe
Exactly. Because they already know they pay off a lot of police officers. Puffy's been paying them off for how long? You know
Yep.
what I mean? Getting away with all the crap he's been getting away with.
That's
So
why
he
he
was
got the
correct.
key to the city in Miami.
Facts. 100%.
asked me the night before if I had half and half for our coffees the next morning, and I didn't have any half and half, and he just jokingly said, who has coffee and doesn't have half and half? It was a conversation in passing, it was a joke, and the next morning we woke up and there was a full half and half in my fridge. And the only reason I noticed that is because Joe said, thanks for running out early and grabbing half and half. You didn't have to do that. I was kidding. I didn't go and grab that half and half. I knew that somebody was not only listening, but entered my apartment that night while we were sleeping. And then they started to do these things that only I would notice. Things that if you told anybody, they would look at you like you were crazy. Each night that we came home and we were just winding down and watching TV, I would go to turn my TV on and the remote control wouldn't work. And I would check the batteries, and the batteries would be switched from positive to negative and negative to positive. Like they came into my house and just flipped my batteries. I know that my remote control worked the day before, and they just
So,
Come on now.
Just
no,
mildly inconveniencing him. No, I get it, cause that shit is mad
that's,
creepy
I
though.
know. That's
Especially when
like,
it's
come on.
especially when it's shit that only you would notice, and it's like,
yes. And it's
who the
genius because if you tell people, you look crazy, right?
yep.
Hmm.
So you sit there and say, hey, man, are you sure? No, no, the batteries were changed around. You know what I mean? So
It's like, you
you
sure
look
you didn't
crazy
drop it
person.
and accidentally do it wrong?
Exactly.
And
hmm So it's kind of genius the way they mess with him.
needed me to know that they were in my house and flipped my batteries, just to let me know that they were invading my privacy on a daily basis. And then it started escalating to when I would take Joe to lunch, or we would pop to the grocery store, or we would go to the movies, and we would come back to the car and my left blinker would be on. They would just open my car and put it down, and every time we would come back to the car, my left turning signal would be on. It happened like 6 times. How can I tell anybody that somebody broke into my car and turned my left signal down? It's something that only I would notice. And I can't tell Joe because I'm not trying to scare him, and it's also something that I don't even think he would take seriously. He would probably say, you probably hit it down when you were stepping out of the car. And then things started to pick up. They started to do very specific things to me that weren't just by chance. We came home one day and I locked the door behind me like I was doing every time because I was super, super paranoid. My apartment door lock just locked swiftly. My apartment door lock doesn't lock swiftly. I would have to like press into it and jiggle it and force it to lock. And it's been like that since I moved in. And it had this sharp little nub on the front that I would feel with my thumb every single day. And one of the days we came home and it just smoothly locked and the nub wasn't there. So they were letting me know that I can't even lock them out. But how do I tell anybody that they're doing this to me? Because they would just say the apartment was probably aware of it and changed it. And I still wasn't able to tell Joe.
But
like,
but
Man.
baby,
the
make this
same
payment change it.
but the same key though. You see, that's the thing. If they're gonna come and change your lock, you gotta get a whole new key. But he was using the same key that they said that they changed the lock with. You know what I mean? So
I
what's
think they
your
did that at my house. They had to change the back lock, and I don't have a different key for. You can. I say you can get the same. I believe you can because I gotta look at that now.
yeah,
Because
definitely.
I'm like, can't they do that? Because I swear I can unlock my back door with my key, but they had to change my back door because It got stuck one day, like it would not unlock.
Okay.
Mm.
So maybe they just fixed it and then put the same one back on. I don't know. It's possible, but I usually know if you get your lock changed,
No,
you
but
gotta
if
go to the
maintenance come do something, they leave a note and say maintenance was
yeah, yeah,
here.
yeah. They have to. They actually have to tell you before they come into your apartment too, right? I don't know if they're in the States, but here they got to give you a warning before they just can't walk into your apartment, even if it's to fix something.
Because I
No,
would think that he would come to the same
Oh, go ahead.
I guess it just depends on the apartment complex and their policy
I got you.
conclusion.
or
But then the next
whatever.
day, we go to the car to go to breakfast, and we get into my old car that I've had for 5 or 6 years at the time, and I grab my gear shifter and I go to pull it into reverse, and it smoothly goes from park to reverse. And my gear shifter doesn't smoothly go from park to reverse. You have to wiggle it in a certain way. You have to press the button with your thumb in a certain way to get it into reverse. I only know this because I drove this car every single day for 5 years, and this gear shifter is pretty much
I'm about to
broken.
J.
It's an
Cole
old
and
car.
ride a
And
bike.
that morning, I
Nope.
got into my car, and it
What up,
smoothly went from park to reverse, and the wooden finish on the gear
The
shifter
fact that
was
they
different.
fucking with the
Mine had
car,
scratches
nope.
on it, and this
Bye.
one
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like you messing with the gear shift on his car, and yeah, I wouldn't get in that car because one
Bye.
day you put a bomb in that motherfucker. You know what I mean? No,
Yep.
I'm not getting in that car. Don't
was
worry.
brand new. So they were telling me not only are they able to just break into my car and turn the left signal down, they're also willing to manipulate my car. Now I know for sure Joe isn't safe either, and me not telling him these things puts him into danger because I'm driving him around in this car. And if they could change my gear shifter, why wouldn't they be able to cut my brakes? So I basically just break down and I have to tell Joe everything from start to finish about this weird party with this weird agent and the little things that I've been noticing all week, and that this was the last straw. And Joe believed me because we used to drive around in my car together all of the time, and sometimes he would drive my car, and he made me promise that I did not get that fixed. The gear shifter was still broken yesterday and it's fixed today, and I didn't do that. So that won him over, and he basically said, we need to get out of here. It shook him too. He didn't like the idea of these people in the house. When I told him I didn't get the half and half, when I told him all of these things that were adding up over the last couple days, it freaked him out, and he's like, bro, we got to go back to your apartment, we got to get your stuff, we got to get you out of here. Then my entire world is shattering. I moved out here and all of these things were going great for me, and I had a place and I had friends, and I didn't want to leave. Maybe the stuff will die out, I'll be able to work with other people, it's going to be okay. I don't want to just leave my apartment, leave all my stuff. But Joe insisted that we went back to my apartment to grab his stuff and mine, and then go stay at a motel before he leaves the next day. And when we got to my apartment, David
What up, Loki? It's called I Wish I Never Went to This Party, right? And this YouTuber is telling a story about a party he went to, and this is what happened after he went to the party and seen stuff he shouldn't have seen.
was in the lobby with other creators by the cafe again, and I went up to him. I didn't really have any idea about what I was going to say to him. All he did was hand me a coffee, ignore everything that I said, and walk away. But then when I looked at the coffee, it had a little napkin wrapped around it. I saw that something was written in Sharpie on the napkin. It said, "I'm so sorry. You have to leave tomorrow with him, otherwise it's me and you." And I went upstairs and I packed a couple backpacks, and I left LA the next morning with my friend, and I never went back. Joe and I rushed out of that city as fast as we could. I packed as much of my stuff as I could, and we just started driving. We were both genuinely scared for our safety at that point. So we decided to skip Joe's scheduled flight and just drive to Las Vegas. And then we were just gonna fly home from there. There was something that just felt comforting about being out of the state. Not to mention, Joe wanted a real briefing about what went down, because I had just basically told him the cliff notes and begged him to believe me so that we could pick up and leave as soon as possible. For the first 2 hours of the drive, we primarily kept our heads on a swivel and just made sure that we didn't take any wrong turns to further extend this trip. There were a few cars that made me feel like we were being followed, but it was just my paranoia enhancing an A-type personality driver into a stalker. Once we were out of California state lines and into Nevada, we could both finally exhale. I felt real relief wash over me for the first time since I got kicked out of that party. We stopped about 15 minutes into Nevada at a pit stop. We used their Wi-Fi to book a hotel for Vegas that night, along with the plane tickets for the next morning. Once we had our escape plan fully booked, Joe just started laughing, and I couldn't help but just start laughing too. We shared a lot of crazy stories growing up, and we always seemed to find ourselves in sticky situations together. So it was just hilarious that his fun trip to visit me turned into this. It felt really good to laugh about it because it made me feel like it was finally over. We got back into the car to continue our drive, and Joe playfully said, "So you have 1 hour to explain to me why we're fleeing Los Angeles over some half and half and a gear shifter before we get to Vegas and we make this trip worth it." I realized how bizarre this whole situation must have looked from his perspective. He flew in for a fun vacation and arrived to see see his friend in a crisis. As I started to explain to him the series of events, things really started to click for me, especially with his input as a police officer. I'm going to recap some of the events that I had already explained, but with the conclusions that we came to together. Clearly, the man that invited us to the party was a predator, and we were just perfect targets for him. We were young kids with enough of a following on socials to influence all of the other young creators in the area. We had just made a major change in our life by moving across the country, and we were completely isolated from our families who we could consult with about important decision making. And we were in a bad financial situation because at the time, just having a following on the internet didn't equal revenue. We were perfect targets to be indoctrinated into a system where they could have full control over our budding careers. And apparently that's exactly what cult-like communities look for potential members.
He's actually being somebody's I want ya. You know what I mean? We can do this the easy way or the
Fleece
hard way.
Johnson.
That's
Fleece
where
Johnson, the booty
that's
warrior.
where Chris Henson is. He retired after that shit.
Not to mention, we were in LA trying to make a career in entertainment, and it seemed like they held the key to our dreams. As I was explaining to Joe the invitation and how it showed up to my house, we came to the conclusion that this guy approaching us at that party was not a coincidence. He had to have been scouting us prior to the time that I thought that we just met by chance. The party itself was a trap as well. When I finally had the chance to process what he said to me about the slow drip is better than a flood, it really started to make sense. Each room was designed to slowly introduce you into giving into temptation and sin. Everybody there being so nice and inviting was clearly on purpose. Seeing all of these people that you've looked up to for years indulging in these temptations of each room and inviting you to join in with them is perfect peer pressure. You don't want to let your idols down, so you voluntarily engage in an activity in each room that just gets progressively worse and worse. And of course they start with flirtiness and overeating delicious food. And of course spirits, because those things are so easy to give into. But the temptations of the night keep getting worse as you go on. He wanted me to feel the slow drip, so when it was time to commit the heinous acts of the 6th room, it didn't feel like a flood. It's clear why they kicked me out when they did. I wasn't indulging the way everybody else had. And when it came to the time to defame my religion, it was the last straw. Most people, like myself, would think it was just part of the party theme. But to them, it's the test to see if you're broken down enough to defame your religion for the fun of the party. That's why the 6th room was the flood. It was dramatically worse than the rooms that I had experienced. And the only way somebody would give into the peer pressure to do what they were doing in that room is them being primed to do so with everything that happened before and had just spoken the words that they're not God-fearing. I realized that the people that would go to that party didn't just blow up overnight because of the power of that little cultish group. They scouted young creators like myself and David who they believed were going to blow up regardless of their help and get them to commit heinous acts on camera. So when they did eventually blow up, they had the perfect blackmail on them to control them. They would try to get to you early before you were making money independently so that they could control you. Because if you were already established and wealthy, why would you even care about going to a party like this? You just don't care. It's too late for them to infiltrate your life. Do they help you with big collaborations? Yeah, but these collaborations are built off of fear and trauma. That's how they keep their group so tight. You can't get into this group unless you also do these horrible things. They kicked me out and let me leave because they thought I actually didn't see anything too bad. From the outside perspective, I had just gone to a cool A-list party in a beautiful home filled with beautiful people and amazing food. I couldn't say anything bad about it publicly without sounding bitter that I got kicked out. That's how groups like this need to operate. From the outside looking in, it has to look amazing and wonderful to be a part of. From the inside, they need blackmail that's so bad on you that you can never speak out against it without getting your reputation destroyed. It made sense why they went after me the way they did. They need to do things to me that only I would notice because they couldn't be seen openly harassing me. It would make them look bad. So they had to infiltrate my privacy and scare me secretly. I still don't know how far they would have gone to get me to leave the city. If they would get violent or try to get me to fall victim to an accident. But they wanted to scare me out of the city. And I thought back to my very kind friend that warned me about this party and how secretive he was being about how much he knew about it. He couldn't just openly say how weird those people were because it would make him a target. He just knew that if he kindly declined their offers and acted like he knew nothing about them, he could go about pursuing his career unbothered. And it really made sense why they would target potential big creators as well. Because if the kid with the most clout is a part of this group and the only way to collaborate with him was to go through the same indoctrination, they would be able to control an entire generation of creators. To be honest, they're very good at what they do. There was a clear system that they followed and the way that they approached harassing me out of the city. It was done at a professional level. Joe told me that it's called gang stalking and that most of the time it actually isn't happening. And what I mean by that is most of the time that somebody reports that a crime like this is being committed, it's actually a paranoid schizophrenic having an episode. So they harass you in a way that even the police department would consider it a mental disorder opposed to gang stalking. Everything about the way these people operate is cult-like and everything that they do is intentional. I was was never even a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but my perspective on show business in Hollywood completely changed on the way to Vegas. All the dots connected, and I saw how truly evil some people in that industry actually are. And when I got to Vegas, I started to see how openly they show it. I know I've spent this whole time talking about how secret and exclusive this party was, and how everybody that knows about it has their lips zipped shut, but when we had arrived at our hotel near the strip, I started looking around at the big signs and promotions, and they really don't hide it. There was cultish
Nope.
symbolism in all of the music, live performances, and movie
They don't
trailers.
hide
What
that
used to
shit.
look like just cool designs
Facts.
and eccentric artists was blatant symbolism for what was actually going on. I will never look at showbiz the same after that. I'm extremely happy being an independent artist, safe in the middle of the country, away from those cultish hedonists. I never received another letter or heard from David again, but what I can tell you is that everybody that was affiliated with that group became massively famous, but everybody involved fell as hard as they ascended and have had even more massive controversies. And to anybody pursuing a life in the arts or social media, do not fall into this trap. They will promise you everything that you've ever wanted, but they'll take it away whenever they please. And I promise you will hurt the people around you in the process. Welcome to the society. Guys, if you enjoyed this story,
Get somebody the power to feed you. Also give them the power to starve you.
Mhm.
Crazy, eh? Right? All the stuff he talks about. And then he did, and which I showed it by accident earlier, but he did this other
and
one
overall,
here. And this is the one where he talks about more stuff that they did with him. Um, Before I started, do you guys believe that video that he had?
I can believe situations like that happen, but because everything he's saying is sounded too rehearsed,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounds like a lot of things I've seen in a lot of different movies, almost combine them into one to make it a full story. And for me, when I walk out that house, like I said, after the food, I would have been gone then. But
Facts.
he walks to the vehicle, you let him drive you to your house. Why not stop a few blocks away from your house?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Right? And he has your phone.
They already know where he lives
I mean,
because
if
they
that's
sent him the invite
you
to
right,
his
you
house.
got a good point. I forgot about that part. Say, I'm sorry, man. If somebody send me some letter like that, I'm like, who the fuck is this? And who? I can't do it. At first, I'm like, I would go, but now I'm like, nope, can't do it. Can't can't do it. And they
Too
started
much.
messing with your stuff, moving your remote control, moving. I know if I walk into this room and my game controls move to the other side, who the hell moved my controller? So I know
Mm-hmm.
exactly where I left it. So
Facts.
and then you subconsciously doing stuff, and you thinking they doing it, you just going crazy.
The
Like
problem that I have though is sometimes I'll do shit like I'll be on my phone and be like, "Where the fuck is my phone?" You know what I mean? So if,
I do
if
that all the time.
yeah,
you know what I mean, so if they were to mess with me like that, I'd probably at one point be like, "Did I really change these batteries around? And if I did, when did I do it? And why did I do it?" You know what I mean? Like they could probably do stuff to have me thinking that I actually did that shit. So I don't know, man. Then he said, hold on, let me just said reminds me of the guy that didn't. Hold on, let me switch this because I can't read it. There's a little gray sign there. There. You know, it reminds me of a guy you didn't like, Anzo, that was sleeping with the younger girls. He blew up, then he just fell off the map.
oh, I think I know what you're talking about because he did a lot of some
Remi-
videos about it, trying to. He
I
was on
did.
some R.
Oh,
Kelly shit.
uh, huh. Uh, I, I, yeah, I guess you're right. I guess you're right, Loki, because it's slipping my mind. And he said it's someone I didn't like. You know, it reminds me of the guy you didn't like, Anzo, that was sleeping with. Oh, okay, I got you. I got you. I got you. I remember. The one that did I did the video on. He reminds, or he said, "I'm just like R. Kelly." That guy.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, that clown. Then that ended up coming out and saying it was all bullshit and he did it for clout. You know what I mean? But he did this other video, and this is he said he explains more stuff that happened with him. But I didn't ask you. You didn't ask me. Did you believe his story so far?
Um, it's plausible. I ain't gonna say. I it's like if you so afraid of what these people can do to you, are you no longer afraid because you show telling the world and this show
Exactly.
blowing up?
Facts. Facts.
Putting people's pictures
That-
up
Facts.
there and everything, and
Facts. Facts.
it's
100%.
almost like he's kind of trolling, trying to get. reactions and trying to get, clicks.
So we're gonna play the next part, and I wanna know after seeing this part if you guys believe him or not. Okay? So let's get into the next
It
part.
seemed like everything that they were doing was for the cameras. Like the purpose of this more efficient was too real. I just started freaking out because part of me didn't even want to believe it. And I even found myself trying to convince myself that it didn't happen. That what I saw through that window was some type of game or some type of charade. But as comforting as it would have been to brush it off as something fake, what I saw through that window was just too real. I'm not going to go into explicit detail, but I thought long and hard about what details I could give to paint the picture clearer for you. They had the new people taking turns laying in a fancy coffin, while like a group of older ones stood around in a circle around the coffin taking turns. And they were doing whatever they pleased to the newcomer on camera like it was some type of humiliation ritual, while all of the others stood around that big circle cheering or just chatting while they were being served drinks by very new people, if you know what I'm saying. And it really seemed like everything that they were doing was for the cameras. Like the purpose of this room was to get footage from newcomers that was so graphically heinous that if it was released to the public, they would never even be able to explain it. And the public humiliation would be too severe to ever recover their career or their life. And the people that were serving drinks in that room weren't the same people that were serving drinks in the other rooms. It was as if they were saving these extremely new servers for this room and beyond. That's all I'm going to say about that, and now I'm going to move on to the week after. I was not expecting that night to go like that, and I never would have had Joe come visit me under those circumstances. Me and Joe had planned that visit for weeks, and I had been so excited to see him and to show him around LA. We had this whole fun itinerary planned, and I was almost using this trip as an excuse to have a staycation. I'm not the type of person to not have my stuff together when somebody's coming to visit me. I even hate the thought of bringing somebody all the way across the country into an unstable environment. Traveling is stressful enough, not to mention it's expensive. So if somebody comes to visit me, I really try to take their time seriously. Because I know that I would hate to go visit somebody and you show up to like a dirty house and then they're having.
See, this part like sounds a lot like a story. You know what I
Mm.
mean? You know, like, oh yeah, my friend came. Like, you telling
Yeah,
the story, you don't.
that's where he lost me when he was done talking about the party, and then he was like, "Oh, and then I forgot I had to go pick up my friend. Where the fuck this
Hmm.
Okay, so now we on a new adventure. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, it sounds like
Mhm.
a plot to a movie. Maybe he's trying to
Absolutely.
get his
Yeah,
who the fuck
script
did I
written.
marry got on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
like I
real.
having
said,
a
there's
car
no
issue,
emotion,
and then they
nothing,
have a
no
messed up,
emotion, no nothing.
unclear work schedule. I don't know. I just want people to feel safe, comfortable, and taken care of when they come visit. I just want them to feel like they could travel to a stable environment so they can enjoy their trip. So when all of that went down, I started spiraling at the thought of Joe coming to visit me right after. When I look back at it, it might have been the thing that held me together though. I was trying hard to stay calm, think rationally, and not scare Joe. That I actually kind of convinced myself that I was okay. I might have let my paranoia get the best of me if I hadn't felt responsible for Joe's safety. And I might have done something stupid and irrational. It also might have helped because I was constantly on the move the entire time he was there. Just going from tourist attraction to tourist attraction. And everywhere we went, we were just constantly surrounded by masses of people. Not to mention, at night, I had somebody sleeping at the house, which is something that I usually didn't have. And honestly, I only thought about it this way in retrospect.
God
I
damn
wasn't
it.
actively avoiding these people like this. I was pretending like everything was okay to Joe and pretending to have a good time at all of these places. I was honestly just trying to be a good vacation host, but I do think it worked to my favor because we were just constantly in crowded places surrounded by a bunch of witnesses. And I was sleeping in an apartment with a brand new police officer that's expected to return to duties in a week. I could only imagine that this must have made me a much harder target to deal with. And it was all by chance and by accident. If Joe hadn't visited, I probably would have just locked myself in my apartment and I probably wouldn't have left. And whoever those people were would have known my location at all times and easily could have planned something worse. And I just remember that the way their tone changed in that second letter that they sent me was just terrifying. The first day that Joe was there, we went to Runyon Canyon, which is always super
So I was
packed,
like,
and
can
it
you
was
pause it
super
real
packed
quick?
that day. And
Yeah.
right after we did Runyon.
Now
Go
you
ahead.
heard what he just said, right?
Uh huh.
Now the other story, he talked about how they moved his remote, changed the batteries, fixed the brakes or whatever they did to his car, so they know where you are at all times. So why are
Hmm.
you saying if you did this, they wouldn't know where I am at all? He ain't stuff ain't clicking.
You see, you see, and that okay. So when I first saw the first video, I was watching it. I was interested. Oh shit! But then I caught something, and I wanted to see if any of you guys would catch it, but you didn't catch it. I caught it. So he says there's a part where they're standing in line, and he says there's 10 people in front of him, so that's 12 with him and his friend, right? But then when he
Mhm.
says he goes outside and he looks in the mirror, he said there's 9 people in there and I
Mm.
was the 10th one. So when I heard
Mhm.
that, I was like, wait a minute, that's not what you said earlier. And that's when I was like, this shit is fake, and that's why I didn't do a video on it, because at that moment I realized everything he said was fake. So I was like, okay, and I didn't do a video on it. But there were some people that did videos on it. Like I said, got 1.1 million views on it. And in the video, he was talking and believing it was real as well. Because he did another video after that, and he was like, man, if you guys were watching my live stream, I don't know what was going on, but it kept going off. It kept stopping the stream. And he's like, I don't know. Maybe it was because I did this guy's video and it got 1.1 million views. So he actually thought because he posted the video that YouTube was messing with him. So I was like, okay. And then when I watched this part, this confirmed it for me right away, because I'm like, a lot of the things he's talking about and the way he's doing it sounds more like storytelling than the first one did, right? And you'll
Mhm.
see even at certain points there's like kind of foreshadowing, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you doing a story, you know what I mean? So
Canyon, we went and got
Yeah, and
lunch
then
at a very busy Korean.
oh,
How
go
were they
ahead.
so
if
worked?
if
I
he
was
was if this was so disturbing, you would hear it in his voice.
Hmm.
I'm just being honest, because like
And
the fact that you don't, and I'm not saying like I want to hear the crazy shit, because I don't. I like I
hmm
said, I won't even watch this dude fake fuck a pig. So
hmm hmm
so, sir, but like if he was like
yeah,
you would be able to hear the fear, the anguish, the pain. Because how
Mm.
long ago did this happen? Like it's shit that
yeah.
I can talk about from my childhood, from being a teenager, shit that happened to me when I was a young adult that still make my voice quiver. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And
hmm
it ain't
hmm
even, and some of it ain't even probably half as bad as the shit that was going on in that room. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And you'd have like, anxiety, and especially if you know that these people are really messing with you like that, you ain't coming on YouTube to do no damn video about it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all
Hello.
see the YouTube award on as well? Absolutely, Danny. We see it. That's what you get when you get over
He make sure he
100K
shows
subs.
that. And Joe sounds like
100%.
such a basic name to use for a friend.
Yes.
It's the Joe
Yes.
Ex Machina.
Yep.
Mhm.
Joe saved me.
But what's funny is when he said his friend Dave, there was a lot of people, like I said, in the chat trying to figure out who this Dave was, right? And then he did an
Hmm.
interview with somebody, and they said, "We talking about Dave so and so?" And he actually said yes, but he also confirms in that video that no, it's not true.
so paranoid that the only reason I was able to fall asleep was because I barely had gotten any sleep from the night before, and we had an incredibly active day. I passed out due to exhaustion.
But I will say this: he's a fucking great storyteller, though.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
hands down, he's a really good storyteller, bro.
And fatigue, not due to relaxation. And when I had finally woken up and Joe had implied that I had gotten up early to go get half and half, my paranoia went back to 1000. And he was already in the process of making himself a pot of coffee. And I still didn't want to scare him, so I just went along with it. And for that couple minutes, I was just staring at the half and half on the table. And I was just trying to understand, trying to wrap my head around how it could have gotten here. Because I knew for sure that I didn't buy it. I know that we joked about not having it last night, and right there it hit me that somebody had been in our apartment the night before. But still, for some reason, I just couldn't get myself to tell Joe. So I just twisted and said, yo, you're on vacation, let's go get a special coffee from a shop nearby. It felt so crazy being so scared of a bottle of creamer, but something in my gut just told me to not let Joe drink it. Even if it was just a subliminal threat to let me know that they were listening to every single word that I said, it still wasn't worth the risk of potentially getting poisoned or drugged. And in hindsight, I just think it was a way for them to tell me that they were listening and to let me know that they would be aware if I told Joe anything that I saw. I didn't think it was a bottle of poison, but I just couldn't take that risk. This made me even more apprehensive to fill Joe in. And the threat that they did worked. I played off the weird half and half, and I just went on playing tour guide. And we
I think the reason why his story sounds so good too is because you could actually see the stuff that he was talking about
Mhm.
happening. That society and shit, like they've made movies on crap like that, so you know something's happened, right? The Diddy parties that people keep talking about, may not be to the extreme that he's talking about, but there's definitely some freaky shit that goes on in Hollywood. So I feel like that's why his story has people really believing what it was. You know what I mean? That it's real. So
went a couple blocks away from the apartment just to a nice coffee shop, and something a little bit odd happened. To this day, I don't really know if it was another threat or if it was a complete coincidence. But me and Joe were just waiting in a long line because this was a popular coffee shop. And two girls were behind us talking, pretty loud, which obviously isn't uncommon because they just seemed like they were having a good time at first. But I couldn't help but to eavesdrop a little bit on their conversation because for a second, Joe was just looking at the menu and I had just a moment of time to listen in instead of having to converse. And I swear to you, these two girls were having the exact same conversation that me and Joe did the night prior about the half and half. And I'm not talking about the concept, like who doesn't have half and half, haha, funny, funny. I mean, they said the exact same 5 sentences back and forth to each other as me and Joe did the night before. I'm talking verbatim. They did it verbatim with the exact same cadence, enunciation, and emphasis on specific words, mimicking our banter style to a T. And Joe even noticed it because he was eavesdropping a bit too, and nudged me after they finished the banter and he was just laughing a bit. He found the coincidence funny and he apparently found one of the girls cute. So he turned around and started chatting them up. And he basically just said to them, I just told him the same thing yesterday, pointing at me. And he just gave kind of like a warm, friendly laugh, opening up conversation with these girls just to see if they were open to chat with us, maybe have some banter with us. And this is why I'm not positive it was a threat. These girls were so nice to us and they didn't come off as
No,
threatening or
stupid.
standoff.
What the fuck? It's just showing you we listening. We know everything.
Mhm.
We can find
absolutely,
you. It's
100%. And they can though.
man.
That's what's kind of scary about it is that they actually could find you if they wanted to. Look how many Hollywood deaths that just seem so like
Mm.
Alea. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Alea. That just seems so like when you hear the stories, they packed up the plane, they rushed her out of there. They knew that the plane had too
They
much.
drugged her. Because
Yes, yes.
she did
She
not
didn't
want to
want to
get
go.
on the
Yeah,
plane,
yes, right.
and
Yeah.
they gave her something
Yes.
to calm her, and they carried that. Matter of fact, I've heard stories of people saying she didn't even really walk on the plane. They like carried her,
Oh,
and
Mm.
I'm
really?
like, yeah.
Because Damon Dash said he told her not to get on the plane, right? They were having, and she was like, "Oh, she's like, I think what was happening is the equipment was supposed to go first, and then she was supposed to go after that, and they were like, no, we got to go now, blah blah blah." And he was
Hmm.
like, "Nah, don't get on that plane." You know what I mean? And she ended up getting on that plane, and then she died. Michael Jackson, you know what I
They put
mean?
her
The
on the
way he died.
plane.
Yeah, exactly.
Prince, Whitney Houston.
Mhm.
Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson. Like there's a video out where they say that Whitney Houston had bruises on her when she died. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't just a drowning. They were saying that she actually got beat up before she died. Prince just dying of an overdose like that. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of really suspect things that happen, and like you said, they could get you. Now, obviously, the guy's story is not real, but I think he knows how to incorporate like things that would be real life into his stories to make you believe it. I think his biggest mistake was telling people that it wasn't real, right? He could have just kept going on making these stories. Maybe sooner or later people would have found out, but I think he could have continued on going on and have that mystery of people not knowing whether it's real enough. Because on a video I seen, he actually said his first 10 videos on his channel are real stories. And then I guess he ran out and started making up. So he came up with this one.
But something just didn't feel right about how precise their delivery was. Especially when I knew that somebody planted that half and half the night before. So I probably just looked like the most insecure, anxious guy in the world, while Joe is just chatting these girls up. And I'm just looking like the real introvert in the friendship because Joe has vacation energy. He's just talking with these girls and I'm just standing there not saying a word. I'm just anxiously standing there trying to read their body language. And I'm just trying to pick up any potentially venomous tones in their voice. And they really didn't give me any sign of foul play, except for hearing them mimic us verbatim. And then eventually, of course, it was our turn to order drinks, so the conversation broke off. We ordered and then it was their turn, and apparently they had ordered ahead online. And they just grabbed their pre-made drinks and they left before us. And that felt slightly off to me because usually people that order online just skip the line. And they usually will just go pick up their order on the other end. But these girls decided to wait in line behind us. Again, I'm not sure about this one, but that just felt off to me. And after we had our coffee, we had our entire day planned. We were gonna go see a movie first because it was gonna be gloomy outside until the afternoon. So we might as well spend today doing an indoor activity. Then we were gonna head to Santa Monica Pier and Beach for the day. So we leave the coffee shop and we start heading back to the car. And I just can't relax and I'm just looking around everywhere we go. And I'm just looking for any suspicious activity from anyone. I was out there looking at grandma's weird at this point. I didn't feel like I could trust anybody but Joe. Every thought that I would have would just be so intrusive. And the intrusive thought would just start to spiral into an even worse thought. And I look down the wrong aisle of cars in the lot and my stomach drops because I just think right away, oh, somebody stole my car. They must have stolen it. They must have took it just to keep me stranded and vulnerable. But then I just hear Joe calmly say, yo, it's this aisle over here, Doug. And then I just start to feel so bad because Joe doesn't have any idea about my internal panic. And I could tell that he's starting to sense that something is off by a couple of looks that he was shooting me. But when it's just me and him, I'm doing a really good job of just playing it off. But when it comes to interactions with new people or just strangers in general, he must know that something's off. Because I'm not an introvert. I'm usually really chatty. And I have absolutely no issues talking to strangers. Not to mention, I don't usually visibly panic if I don't find my car right away. So anyway, once Joe points out where the car is, I compose myself. We were headed to the movies at AMC Broadway near Santa Monica. So we would be close to the Santa Monica Pier already so we could walk around there after. Once we get up to the car, I get a little bit of relief once I get in and the doors are locked. Until I turn my key and I notice something a little bit unusual. The left turn signal was on and blinking, as if I had turned it on right before I had parked the car.
See, so it kind of repeats some of the stuff that he was talking about with the car, and you know what I mean. Nerdman said, "Yo, oh, hold on, I gotta move this shit again. Yo, why you trying to sell the battle rap? You know those bars devastated your white ass. No, man, ain't nobody looking at your bars. Ain't nobody watching that. Nobody paying attention to that, bro. That shit was whack. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody watching that."
Expensive valets. You know those ones where they park it right out front on a main street? And even the valet guy was a little bit confused because usually only high-end car owners do that. And my car was a piece of rolling garbage. And Joe was really confused too because it made no sense for me to spend that much money on a valet when neither of us mind walking. And I just played it off as like some kind of joke, just saying, yo, we're balling out while you're in town. And then I justified it after by complaining about how hard it is to find parking over here. And it seemed to work, and we eventually got into the pier and we just spent our entire day there. We were just messing around in the arcade and we were just chilling on the beach, grabbing lunch nearby, just killing time at Santa Monica. We were there for hours, literally the entire day. As long as the sun was up, we just stayed at Santa Monica. Again, by chance, I spent the day in massive crowds of people surrounded by thousands of witnesses in public. And I keep stressing that because I didn't realize how smart it was to do that until way after. And the day was pretty fun for what it was, even with the undertone of paranoia. And it was even better when we got back to our car at the valet and it was not touched. No blinker on, nothing. Because it was basically being guarded by the valet with tons of witnesses around. Nobody would have the privacy to break into it out there. And I felt a little bit of relief because I felt like I fought back a little bit with that. The only issue was that fighting back costed me money. And there's no way that I could do that everywhere I went. And I probably couldn't even do it again this week if I wanted any money to have to do activities with Joe. So that moment of relief and that moment of victory was fleeting, and my mind just started spiraling on my way home. I was so nervous to go back to that building or potentially bump into somebody that knew that I went to that party, or even bump into David. I didn't want to be around anybody but Joe. I was also so scared of what I was gonna come home to. I know that they came in the night before to drop off some half and half, but are they going to do something worse after I was gone all day? Is my apartment going to be trashed and destroyed? Are they going to come back tonight? But with all of this going through my mind, I still need to keep Joe distracted and entertained. I just need to keep conversation with him, and I need to act like I'm okay. And then I start to think about if it's not right for me to keep Joe in the dark. And I start to consider if I should fill him in, but I ultimately decide against it at that time. And it was just out of fear of looking like I'm a paranoid schizophrenic having an episode.
I don't know, man. If you have a friend though, you'd be able to tell him. I'd be like, yo, bro, some shit's happening. Cause I know when I left this morning, I did not change the batteries in my remote or something like that. You know what I mean? But again, as we know, the story is kind of fake. It's not true. He made it up. So very interesting. You guys should just definitely check out his channel if you want to hear more stories that he has. But this one is definitely fake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's starting to
It's
get a little
just
boring now. It's like, okay, dude, I know you're lying. I know you. So, and it's I
once
don't
you
know.
know, once you
Hmm.
know that the story is not real, it's just like, okay, well, you're just telling a story now. You know what I mean? And you're just elaborating on it. And I guess it's because that story got him so many views. He's like, you know what? Let me continue it. Again, his biggest mistake is one, making his story seem like a story, right? The second part, he should
Hmm.
have told it totally differently, and telling people that, his stories were not real. You got to keep that kind of mystery about it and let people
It's
know.
Joe that killed it for me. Like as soon
Right.
as because I did make it to all 6 rooms the first time I saw it, but
Yeah,
when he said, oh, and then the next day I had to pick up my friend, I stopped watching after that. I was like, you lying bastard.
yeah, yeah. Hmm. It sounds true, right? You look at that
But the
series.
but the party part was plausible. Once he got to
Yes,
Joe,
Hmm.
I was just like, stop.
yes, absolutely. Sedonzo, born loser, alcoholic loser, ain't got no shoes. Okay, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, nerd man, I got something for you coming. You don't have to worry about that. You know what I mean? I definitely got something coming for you. You want to
Opioid
know
addicted shoplifter male stripper. Wow.
when? But I'm with you. Like when I heard the first part, I thought it was plausible, and even the guy that did the video, like after I seen the second and third part, even after I saw the video where the guy did the reaction to it, I wrote in his comments, I'm like, you really think this is real? Because he was like, oh my god, I was like, this story, like he thought it was real, and I think a lot of people that did reactions to this video thought it was real. If you I had a feeling. It sounded good, but
Then you look at the timing of when he did the videos, right? You have
mhm,
the Diddy things going on. This is circulating, right? You have all these celebrity names probably implicated in that situation. He's like, okay, why don't I throw my story out there, right?
mhm,
Because it's
mhm,
the new thing. You got people getting outed a lot more now, right? And
mhm,
it started with Cat Williams. Cat Williams opened the floodgates. Ever since he did the interview with Shannon Sharp, all of a sudden,
mhm.
people
And
everywhere
that's
open up.
exactly it. And it's funny because I was gonna ask you guys, have you guys been following what's going on with Fresh and Fit so far?
Yeah, that is hilarious.
Nadia, have you been following? Oh, she's not there.
Then
We just
following
talked
what?
what happened, what's going on with Fresh and Fit stuff.
Oh hell yeah! And it's just like ah ah ah. That's
Yo,
all I got to say.
yo,
And it
those
no no it's no it's funny because they were dying on this motherfucking hill that
mhm,
women in their
Mhm.
30s,
mhm,
especially women in their 30s that don't have
mhm,
children, are damaged goods. Nobody fucking wants you. But now they want to holler, groom me when Drea and all these other women that's getting pregnant by 21-year-olds is like, dude, you fucking up the code. And they like, shit, this woman could. She thick. Uh, y'all stupid. Exactly. And
And
now look at you.
they're so fucking contradictive. It's not funny because remember when he first started dating that girl, they were talking about, oh, she's an escort. No, they have videos. There's a video. No, she's not an escort. No, she's not an escort. And then they came out with a video a couple days ago trying to say she was an escort with a video that this guy that I watch, Duke the Don, pretty much did this photo, like put it through AI, rendered the shit just to prove that it wasn't her. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And they just hold no accountability, right? They want to complain and yell at other people when fucking fresh, you know, he busted a nut in a so-called escort, got her pregnant.
But then later on, in another video, he called her a Chinese national, right?
Yeah, right.
So he's as more information comes out, he's trying to upgrade the world. She not escort. I mess with top tier women, right? You know,
Oh, fucking.
it's like, dude, who the hell wants your monkey ass if you didn't
When
have any money?
when I first found these guys, I was like, oh, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, okay, they talking. I like what they're talking about. Get your money up, go
Hmm.
to the gym, do it, and then they start talking about, well, high value man is me, and I can have all the women I want to, but my woman can't have nobody else but me. And then I'm like, okay, so now we're getting into it, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And Abra and Preach have been killing these guys for years.
Hey,
Oh my
fresh and
god,
fit, man. They chose violence. Abram Priest said, I got you. Let's go."
bro, bro. So weak, these guys. So weak. You're gonna sit there and Myron, and I'll have to find the clip. It was a long time ago, but I'd have to find it. I remember this guy talking about people or guys who play video games are losers and they're this and they're that. And what the fuck does this guy be doing on fucking Twitter? Playing video games.
Hmm. Yep.
Like, yo, you can't even fucking stick to the shit that you say. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, guys, we're gonna be getting on Overwatch and we're gonna be smoking these guys. And oh, so you play video games? Hmm.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they never take accountability for the shit that they say or the shit that they do. I don't understand how so many fucking people watch them.
I mean, like I said, it's you look at the demographic of people that watch them, right? And who follow them. How should I say? No, they are typically younger guys who don't really have a plethora of dates, who, it's they are basically beta guys. They're betas, right? And there's nothing wrong with being a beta male. Nothing wrong with it. But
It's ridiculous.
it, this alpha male mentality they try to push, dude, y'all not alphas. Y'all not alphas. When I do kick that door in for the B old guy's ass, and you sit there hiding behind you with a gun, like, nah, bro, you not about that. You're not about that, dude. You're just not it. You're not it.
I always wear my hat when I'm on stream, brother. He said beta male. Yeah, beta male. A weak male. You know what I mean? That's what they call them, Danny. That's what they say. They're alpha males, and everybody else is a beta male, right? So yeah, exactly. So they think everybody else is a beta male, and
Exactly.
they talk about men who pay for, they call it box, you know what I mean? So they talk about men who pay for box. They will never pay for that stuff, but yet they have profiles on a sugar daddy site. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like they're just so fucking contradictive and shit. And I'm an ultra alpha. Are you really, Danny? Okay, I got you. I got you. I was gonna say something, but I'm like, nah, I won't roast Danny tonight. I got my mind on Nerd Man. Nerd Man is the one I gotta be roasting right now. They have big, uneducated, egotistical twats with big mouth. That's why people love idiots who run their mouths. They run their mouths way too much, though. You know what I mean? And it's funny, right? Because they went on a video talking about they want to fight Abba and Preach, and it was Preach they were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Preach ended up doing a video showing that he practices and does MMA fighting and all kinds of stuff like that. And next thing you know, now they want to fight Preach. They want to fight Abba. They don't want to fight Preach anymore. They want to fight Abba. It's like you guys just they need to get off of this platform for real because the people that support these guys are unbelievable. You know what I mean? Absolutely unbelievable. I'm going to sleep. The alpha needs rest. No problem, Danny. Have yourself a good night. You know, it was a pleasure. Thank you for popping in. But yeah, at the same time, fuck Fresh and Kid. Those guys are clowns.
Yep. You look at the women they have usually on as the guests, right?
Hmm.
Physically attractive women, but I
Hmm.
guarantee those are the same type of women that a lot of guys try to approach and they get turned down. So you got fuck, damn, Fresh and Fit talking shit to him, talking down to him. Those guys love it.
Absolutely, 100%.
They
That's the
love it.
only reason. That's the only reason why people really watch their show. It's because they like to see them do the so-called Frank Castle. You know what I mean, and kick the
Hmm.
girls out off of the stream. Because when they do other streams where they're talking about money and they don't get as much views. It's only those streams that get
Yeah.
views. You know, the fact that they got demonetized from YouTube was fucking good, right? They had to get demonetized, and now they're over there on Rumble. And I don't know, man. With the allegations that came out with what they did, and people saying how the videos and the papers that they brought out were fake, she could sue them. You know what I
Of
mean?
course.
She could sue them. So it'd be
But yeah,
very interesting.
that's
Go
the
ahead.
same thing that happened with Kevin Samuel. Kevin Samuels. He used to just talk to men and
Hmm.
tell men how to change their image and get their money up. But when he realized he wasn't getting views from that, and then he started consulting women, because remember he was an image consultant, not a relationship advisor, not anything. He was an image consultant. But yeah, he once he started realizing he could get more money bashing women, that's when he went full ham on that shit.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, Danny, I seen some of the stipulations, but I think Tyson's serious. I think he's gonna win that fight. But yeah,
He
exactly.
better.
Kevin, facts. He better.
Yep.
Better, nigga.
But you're right. Kevin Samuels did that stuff where he was trashing women and he seen that it was getting, views, and that's where his content changed to, right? Doing that stuff. Fresh and Fit took that mold and did what they did, but they did it in a way where because they were the ones that started that having the girls in the studio stuff, right? A lot of people are trying to copy
Hmm.
that now, but they were the ones that started that. So I give them the credit for that. But at the same time, the type of girls that they bring on that show are the ones that they keep
OnlyFans
trying.
models.
Yeah, yeah. They will
They
never
they
bring.
they they
Go ahead.
love to bring OnlyFans models on there just to
Hmm.
Hmm.
berate them and just to talk
Yes,
down to them. Just
yes.
to
Yep.
be like, you're a sex worker. You should be ashamed. You're never gonna get a man. You're never gonna
Mm-hmm,
get married. That's
mm-hmm,
shameful. It was like, but you probably pay her to have sex if you want,
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
But that's the funny thing, right? Because they talk about that, but yet they trying to bang these girls after the show, right?
Exactly.
They so stupid. They got schooled by Brittany Renner, and I'm not saying she's stupid. I'm just saying they got
Yeah,
schooled by Brittany Renner.
yeah, 100%. They got schooled by this guy H3 or something like that. Like this guy is like a clown, but he schooled them. Everybody is schooling these guys, but when they go on their stream and they do the stuff that they do, they think that everything they do is right. Like they're killing people. Oh, we're murdering you guys today. You know what I mean? And like, no, you're really not, dude. Like
Then
you're
they
not.
got pearly. They got pearly things
Oh
that
my
that be
God.
co-signing her shit. And then men talk about some where all the loyal women that go holler at pearly things. She is available. She is
Facts.
fit and
Facts.
friendly. Go ahead and holler at
Facts.
pearly. Oh, you don't like pearly? She dressed modest. She
Facts.
she.
But this girl in her late 20s, 26, 27, something like that, talking about women over 30 don't look good. She don't look good
She
at
a
all.
damn lie. She a
Right.
motherfucking
Right. And when she gets 30, you know what I mean? Like everything you talk about these older women, That's gonna be you. Cause you
I
ain't
know.
married, you got no man, so you are going to be that woman that you are talking about for all these streams. You know what I mean? And it's just about getting money. That's it. That's why these guys are doing what they were doing.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? They were fresh saying that he had sex with over 1,000 women. Bull
Lies.
Who the
fucking
hell counts that?
Lies.
shit.
Fucking lies.
Bullshit. Bullshit. How the fuck do you keep track of that?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Do you have every single woman in a book that you slept with, right? How many women, I don't know how old he is, but how many women you would have to sleep with? He told this stupid NBA story or this story about an NBA player that he met, brought him to a party, he had three girls in one night or some crap like that. Like, nigga, you full of shit.
If you did,
I
it's
had two
probably
niggas
TNT
in
at that
week
point.
in one weekend when I was single, and
Whoa, whoa,
You
whoa,
know
whoa,
what
whoa! You did what?
I mean? I think that's a story you should tell.
I ain't
That
even gonna sit here and act like I'm on that level though, cause
hey,
my
that threw
number
me off
ain't even
guard
that.
right there. Whoa, wait a
No,
minute.
but I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like people act like that's such a big feat. Like,
Yeah, I know, I know,
yeah, I
I
had
know.
two niggas in one weekend.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I've done that too. Having sex with over 1,000 women is not cool. It means you're empty inside. Not to
yeah.
mention, right? In one of those videos with the girl, and she said she was pregnant, he said, "Oh, well, I have to go and have four other girls get tested," which means
Whoa.
the so-called 1,000 women, you ain't wrapping your shit up because you haven't, right? If you sleeping with four women at the same time, one's pregnant, you say you gotta have the other ones tested. That's because you ain't
Oh,
wrapping your shit up.
and first of all, I was having safe sex when I was doing shit like that, and this
Hey,
wasn't
Yeah,
every
for sure.
weekend.
that's it.
That was a
Do
good.
your
That
thing.
was just a good weekend. It wasn't. That wasn't every weekend.
Oh, for
That's it.
sure, one hundred
Do
percent.
your thing.
and
Do your
and for
thing.
sure, I was single. So like, yeah.
There you go. What are you saying, JG?
I was telling do your do a thing. I think I
Mhm.
did two in one night before.
As have
Ain't
I.
no think. No, ain't no think I did. Yeah, I did
As
two.
have I.
Oh no, it's not. No, it is not. One,
Uh,
I remember I dropped off at a Cornell school she was going to. I met the other one in the parking lot across from her, and I did that.
Did you wash your dick off in between? Damn. No. No.
it doesn't
That
sound
I
ain't
was
like
like the
it.
look.
same.
I was young. I was
Fuck it up. What is pH? You
young.
had residual
I
juices
look. I
from the
was
other
protected. I
girl
was
and just let the
protected.
other girl
I
drop.
was protected. I was
Look,
protected.
he like, I was protected. Fuck you.
I
And
was.
your pH and
I
all your
used
juices.
protection. I'm just saying. I was young.
Damn.
Okay, I was young. Okay.
I feel you because I was young when I was doing what I was doing. You know?
But that's when you're supposed to do this shit when you're young, right? You know, that's how it goes. Like
You know what, man? I'm so sick of nerd man right now. I'm
I
so
woke up.
rap battle, rap battle. Let's go. I'm done with you. I'm
So I
murdering you. I'm annihilating you. Let's go.
so I woke up in one morning, right? Had sex with the woman I was with, and I was leaving to go to work, but I had already planned to take the day off. So I took the day off, and I went to go check another girl, and then later on that night, I went to a hotel with one. So I was like three in one day, you know.
There ain't no wrong with it, man. You know, you doing your thing, living your life. You know.
Yeah,
But
sometimes
when
when
somebody
you're
come out
younger,
saying they pregnant and stuff like that, don't be trying to act like she a hoe and all this other stuff. Like who's if you know
bro,
she a hoe, who's worse, you or the woman?
bro, his first mistake was not wrapping his shit up. That
Exactly.
was his first mistake. You know what I mean? Like if you sleeping with all these women that you say you sleeping with, bro, man, the amount of bun this man probably have, right? The amount of times he probably had to go get that pill. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And
Dang.
it's OnlyFans models, but yet he thinks that he's being this so-called alpha man. Like I'm an alpha man. I sleep with so many girls. Well, now you sleep with so many girls raw, nigga. You know what I mean? Now you're nasty. Now you're freaking nasty, right? You leaving one girl and sleeping with her, and then going to the next girl and doing it raw. Now you nasty. But hey, we don't believe any of his stories, anyways. Yo,
I'm
JG, you had
so
sex with
sick
a
of this
couple of
dude, man.
wow.
I'm so sick of this dude.
First off, you nerd man, let's not forget, all right? And I'm gonna say this now. Let's not forget that MSK stream. So Nadia, you probably don't know this because you weren't around there that time, all right? So we were on a stream, MSK. And for some reason, this guy always kept his door open. You know what I mean? So some woman actually opened up his door, right? And was like, hey, so he was standing there talking to the girl, right? But I guess he was streaming and had on boxers, right? He had on boxers. So when he got up, he went to the door. And we're all standing there like, what the fuck? Who is that? Like, and Nerdman says, is it just me? Or is MSK hung?
Oh my god.
I was like, bro, ain't nobody checking on that but you. He was like, no, but for real though. Like, bro, are you fucking kidding me? So let's not talk about other man doing other man nerd, man. All right?
Yo, that's like somebody was talking about dudes watching porn together, and then the dude pointing out that the dude is hung, and it's like, nigga, why are you looking at that?
Fact.
Like,
So hold on.
and I'm
First
like,
off,
so dudes sit around and watch porn with each
I
other?
was
Why
just
are y'all
about to
doing
say,
that?
why the fuck are two dudes watching porn together?
That's where I was at in the first place. Like, what? Fuck the other shit. Why y'all? I'm like, is this something that dudes do? I ain't never just casually watch porn with my girls or
Never.
nothing
Well,
like
I
that.
will say this. When the
Uh
R.
oh.
Kelly
Here
tape
we go.
came out way back, the dude said, yo,
And
I
that's
got the R.
because you
Kelly
were
tape.
young. That's because you were
I was
young
18 or
and
19 at the
everybody
time. So
gathering
yeah, yeah,
around
yeah.
a computer. I never seen it because I was not finna disrespect that child because I
Oh,
was the
I didn't
same
know what
age
with a
that
child.
she
What we know
was.
with the child wouldn't.
I was the
Well,
same age she was when that shit happened. So
I
But as
I
seen
a
the
was not.
grown
video.
man, no, I've never done that. As a grown man, no.
I've seen the video, but I didn't watch it with a bunch of fucking dudes. I watched that
We were in
alone
a
with a
dorm,
couple
man. What the hell
fellas.
else we had to do?
See, see, like I said, I could see a situation where that would happen, but not like, hey, come to my house. I got the tape. We have to sit. We finna
Right,
sit here and watch it.
right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like,
Oh,
no.
let me see. When you get done, let me borrow it. That's all I'm gonna say.
See,
Well,
okay.
right. See, I can see that happening. Like you on the internet, yo, bro, R. Kelly's fucking videos on here. Like, oh, let's check it out. Yeah, I can see that, right? But the two men them sitting there watching it together, mm-mm. For what? No, so that's not happening. Absolutely not happening. You know, so. But yeah, those are the stories. You know, we got fresh and fit drama. I'll be keeping up to it because it's funny. If you guys want a good laugh, go watch Abba and Preach because Abba and Preach has been
Yes.
murdering these guys constantly. You watch them, Nadia? Abba and Preach?
What?
Abba and Preach.
Who is that? What is that?
They have been killing um fresh and fit for a while. I want to show something though, because I found they did a video, right? And they showed this part of the video, and I swear to God, I found it so fucking funny, I couldn't stop laughing. So before we go, I want to show this. I
Yeah, Nadia, I
believe
think you'll like Ab and Preach. They're pretty cool. I like
I
them.
posted it. Yeah, I'll show a video of them real quick. I believe I posted it on here. Huh, okay, maybe I didn't. I could have sworn I posted it on. All right, hold on. I'm gonna download the video because I still have it on my phone. But I'll show you who Abba and Preach is real quick, and I'll show you the video that they did on Fresh and Fit while I find the video. And then after this, we will close it up, guys.
Pretty easy. Blue Buffalo. Pick up Blue wherever you buy pet food.
Are you sick of having issues with your webinars, wasting tons of time on troubleshooting with attendees? If so, you need StreamYard on air. Hey, it's Dana from
I'm about to say, what?
It's another video on Fresh and Fit. I wonder how they feel about it.
Again!
I've seen him
Hair
before.
transplant doesn't look too happy.
Yeah,
These guys were
they have
so
a big
quick
channel.
to try to use this as content to make us look bad. They didn't properly vet this girl, but it's okay. I'm gonna do it for them. But then she's running around and telling Abba and Preach and all these other simps, "Oh, I'm not an escort," and they're believing it. "Oh, okay, I believe it."
Simps.
Interviewing a criminal, giving her a platform, letting her tell you all these lies, and you best believe, I'm calling immigration on you, 100%. You shouldn't even be here.
All of a sudden, they think that this kind of character assassination is going to somehow lend credence to the fact that Fresh is asking her to get an abortion, and this is not the first time. I repeat, what? Fresh has done this to other women, and I wouldn't believe it if it came from another woman. But guess who it came from? Pug CEO himself.
What's the worst thing you guys have done to a girl?
So, if you guys know Tom Likas, there's something called a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
And like,
shit.
basically,
You about to tell this story? Let's do it.
let's do it. Okay, so basically, right, I was with this chick, and
These niggas
were
stupid and
going
always
out,
tell on
wasn't working
themselves.
out,
You know what I mean?
but she got pregnant. And then I kind of told her like, yo, we can work this out. Don't worry about it. But we can't have kids right now. And then I did a Hail Mary. And now I'm here.
No, tell them what the Hail Mary is. Tell them what the Hail Mary is.
What the hell,
Tell them what
man?
it is.
And they
Go
find
all the
it
way.
funny.
Okay. So the Hail Mary is, for example, right, where like you tell the chick what she wants to hear, and you can have kids later on, make her get an abortion, you take her to McDonald's, get a McGriddle and an orange juice, you sit her down, you tell her about life, and you started this happen, and you never see her again.
And they find that funny. You know what I mean? They find that funny. But
I hope they never had kids because their kids gonna get treated the same way that they treated women.
100%, especially if they have girls. But this is the
Hmm
shit that I found so funny, and this just shows you how fucking stupid this guy is.
Question for you, bro.
Absolutely.
What proof do you have that she's an escort?
This was him literally 2 months ago.
Shit, that was the wrong video. My bad. I've been doing that a lot tonight. I think I need to smoke more weed.
The answer is more. Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I'm not high right now, and I put that the wrong video. I know I posted it on Twitter, but I couldn't find it on there. So I think I still have it on my phone. I think I still have it on here. There it is. All right, guys. Psychopaths. Yeah, they are psychopaths, nerd man. 100%. All right. So now I found the video here.
Don't believe in the laws of logic and, for example, non-contradiction, or for example, 2 + 2 = 4, if you don't believe in any of that, then you can't have a conversation with anyone about anything because there's no common ground. You can never find out what truth is.
Okay, so
Yeah.
creation itself, who decided 2 + 2 = 4? Man did, right? I'm just saying, on a basis, 2 + 2, who decided that?
Who decided 2 + 2 = 4? Is that a serious question? With all due respect,
I'm asking you.
No one decided 2 + 2 = 4.
So how did it come about?
Numbers are universal. Even with AI. Nigga, what? Numbers run and rule.
Even the dude with the hair plugs was kind of like, "What is this dude talking about?" He's like, "How can I play this off to where okay, I agree with what he's saying."
That's how stupid this guy is. I was dying when I said, "Wait, what do you mean? What? Where did you get that from?"
We can argue about a lot of made up shit. We could argue about names. We could argue about. We could argue about like shit being just words in general. We can argue about holidays and that shit being and all of them being made up. But like numbers translate the same in every fucking language.
Facts. So he thinks man created 1 + 1 = 2. Really? You think a man maybe probably figured it out, but he didn't create it, dude. You know what I mean? Like that is not No,
Do he not know about nature and sacred geometry? Like the
absolutely not. Obviously, you know what I mean. And these guys have this platform. Unbelievable.
making the world dumber every
Is
day.
this your king? Right? Is
No,
this
their king,
is
their king is what's that guy name?
Andrew
Uh
Tate?
uh yes, that's their king.
Yeah, Andrew Tate is their king, right?
They
The
they
man.
they pay to get humiliated with his camps and shit. Like you
Mhm.
literally paying for a dude to scream in your face, and now you feel like a man because you let another man scream in your face.
Facts. The man who's going to jail or probably going to jail for the shit that he did, but these guys will be like, "Nope, I don't care. He's innocent. It's bullshit." Like, bro,
It's the
you know?
Matrix.
Yeah, there you go. It's the
Matrix.
Matrix, guys. The Matrix got us all. That being said, guys, avoid fresh and fit. You know what I mean? Check out everybody else on this panel, Nadia and LOWKEY, and make sure you check them out on Sunday when they get their ass bust by me and Danny. But Nadia,
What is the hello? Tell me. So what we are looking for is songs that now I need to clarify so I can tell my partner and we can get on this. Since y'all think y'all gonna win because y'all playing so far ahead, I'm gonna send him my list. Anyway, I'll probably do it Saturday or Sunday. I got this.
Okay.
Saturday preferably so I can sleep on it and then Sunday. I don't like to do things too early because I start second guessing myself. And like I said, I have a list and then I have a secondary list and the third. Like, this is my A team, my B team, my, you know what I mean? It's the wild cards. I have all of that. And then the fact, so like we are looking for songs that is R&B and rap features. I mean, not features, but collabs, like full fledged collabs where they're somebody's on the hook rapping or singing, not just features, not just like, oh, they got a verse and that's it, right?
um, I think I was going for they have a verse, not just like a hook on the track. Like it has to be a hip hop rap collaboration. So singing and rapping.
That's still kind of broad though, because so is the main song a rap and the chorus can be R&B?
So, for example, your Method Man's all I need, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mary J. Blige sings like spring morning dew. I took a look at you, right? That's the collaboration, not just Method Man rapping and then her doing the chorus.
Okay, so it has to be a full fledged collab, not
Yes,
just not
yes,
just I got a feature on this, but I do nothing else but just
but
feature on this
yes,
as a
yes,
verse. Okay,
yes,
okay.
yes. You get. I guess you could say that the rapper has to have a verse and the female has to have a verse on it.
Mm.
So
Verse, bridge, hook, something.
yeah. So
Okay.
we
Yeah, I
got
can.
others. We
Okay.
can smoke you guys. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not, but
Yeah. I got some surprises for your motherfucking ass. Trust me.
nigga, I got surprises. My genre. You got to think about the shit that I find because I listen to different people, and it's like, oh, that's a good collab.
Yeah, that's fine. Not worried about it. You're just gonna be the collateral damage because I think Donnie really wants to beat LOWKEY more than anything. Because like you're on the team, so you're collateral damage. But yeah, it's more or less about beating LOWKEY. so,
Okay.
so tell the people where they can find you.
So me, you can find
Yeah,
me
you.
at the low key cave. And like I said, like Anzo said, we're doing the verses. I don't know what else we're doing this week. So it
Just if they do, it'll be posted. It'll be shared
will.
out. So you guys make sure
It
to
will.
check it out. JG, you are up.
Yo, yo, you can always catch us live Wednesday nights on the OOC with Unzo, aka the Abbott and the Osiris of the shit, the Spliff King and the Professor of Ganja, alongside Roberto, Mr. 100, Mr. No Woman, No Cry. It can also, as usual, Nadia, one half of the Low Key Cave, the freestyle queen, spitting that fire and brimstone on all you suckers.
That is correct. I just want to say one thing, like guys, stop believing everything you see or hear on the internet. Like for real.
Especially on TikTok.
You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, you gotta think for yourself, right? And I can't lie, at one point I thought it was real, but then I caught it and said, no, it's not real. But there's so many people going on there thinking it's real. And this is a problem that we have because a lot of people can go on Twitter and put some blasphemy bullshit like they do about black people's stats and you know what I mean? And people believe it. And this is a problem. You got to do
And
your
that's how
own
Trump
research.
became president.
Yes, 100%. Do your own research and stop believing everything you see and hear on the internet because a lot of it is bullshit. 99% of the stuff that you read and hear is bullshit. Even on um big news platforms, CBC, CNBC, CNN, Fox News, all of those ones, bullshit as well. You
Oh
know?
yeah, that's like you change. Like if you look at these, first of all, stop reading titles and go to the fucking articles and actually read the article. Somebody
Facts.
sent me an article, and then I started reading it, and I was like, "Why is this reading like a short story from a high schooler?" Like I was like, "This don't even sound like a reported story." And I was like, "This," and I looked it up, and the shit wasn't real. And I was
Facts.
like,
Because
"Don't
that
give me shit."
title is the attention getter. They'll come
It
on with their
was.
title, just I gotta see this, and it's you read through this whole shit like this is nothing.
But
It
the
was. It,
problem, yeah, go ahead, Nadia. Go ahead.
the title was breastfeeding mother gets like beat up by the police or something like that for
Oh yeah, I'll
indecent
definitely read
exposure. And I was like the fuck? Because I was one of them people. I was like, I'm not covering up. It's a titty. My baby sucking it. I don't give a fuck. Like
Hmm.
I did not give a fuck. I mean,
Oh
I
yeah.
covered up. I covered up in certain places. Like I wasn't finna be in church. Like you know,
Hmm. Hmm.
but like, but
Oh
like
yeah.
if I was just like at home or just randomly somewhere in public, I was doing that on the plane. Like, do you want to hear this
Yo,
nigga cry or you want him to? All right, you know,
we appreciate it.
it's hot.
100%.
It's hot under that blanket. You stupid. It's hot. Like
Yeah.
think about put a blanket over your head and start drinking your water and think that's
Yeah.
you know what I mean. That's
Yeah,
basically
for
what it's
sure.
like. No, but anyway, so that's why somebody sent me that article. Like, oh, you better watch out. The police is beating up women that's breastfeeding in public, and it's like this ain't a real article.
Yes. And and that is a problem because a lot of people read the title but don't read the rest of the article, right?
Mhm.
And they just say, "Hey, look at this," and they send it to you, and they think it's real. And then when you actually do your research, you find out it's not real. So, guys, just be wary of that. With that being said, we are going to close it up. Thank you everybody for popping in. Roberta will be back with us next week. We'll have another banging show. Thank you everybody. Peace, love, and hair grease, and see you on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.
Lift me up, hold me down, keep me close, safe and